What if there was a national company working in collaboration with a 501c3 public foundation, major lenders, title companies, realtors, and builders in order to provide home buyers with the non-repayable grants they need to cover a substantial portion of their down payment and closing costs? What if that company went a step further by making these grants available without income restrictions and helped home buyers increase their purchasing power by paying off old collections, reducing credit score requirements, and collaborating with banks in order to bring them to close with zero or little out of pocket? What if that company created a business opportunity as a peer-to-peer social media referring society that pays its associate members $3,200 in marketing fees down to 8 levels for every home buyer that entered into a purchase agreement, even if that purchase agreement never closed? That company has arrived. Let's say that your friend wanted to buy a $250,000 home, and the typical amount needed from her to purchase that home without assistance was $20,000. Thanks to you telling her about us and our down payment assistance, she would need less than $5,000 to close. Or maybe even zero or little out of pocket to close. You heard me right, zero or little out of pocket. Additionally, she may decide to become an associate member and refer John, who then refers other home buyers. When that happens, everyone would earn substantial income for making home ownership happen. With us, associate members earn override commissions. Our company pays $3,200 per transaction down through 8 levels of associates on every purchase contract that their buyers enters into, even if that transaction never closes. No waiting for the sale to close. You are paid within days of the signed purchase agreement. The best part of this is that our associate members don't need a mortgage or a real estate license and don't have the added responsibility to process transactions. There will be associate members who will build large teams and earn tens of thousands of dollars per month, even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Will you be one of these associates? You can get started as either a home buyer or an associate member today, maybe even both. Get back to that person that sent you this video and let's get you started. Contact this associate member today.
Great. Welcome, Mr. Christian Rayburn, to the webinar this evening.
Well, lately we have been dealing with Fundmyhome.org to find a solution for potential borrowers that want to get in a house, but they have defaulted student loans. And even if they consolidate out of default or go through a program of rehabilitation, many times on their credit, defaulted marks are left and their credit score it does not make them eligible to move into a home even with a low credit score criteria. We have been working with the Department of Education to remove the defaulted marks of student loans, and there is IBR programs, but the IBR programs are calculated at 1% with some lenders and have created big problems because 1% of a student loan can be quite a lot as a monthly payment. So what we have done is we have been in dialogue with the Department of Education and found ways that is acceptable for not only Fannie Mae and conventional mortgage brokers and lenders, but also the way they report it on the credit from the Department of Education and programs that they can enter into. So in short, without getting into all the details, basically you now as a member can go out and recruit people that are renting that basically have the income for being a homeowner. And they are renting because they might have a defaulted student loans and can't get an FHA loan or any kind of mortgage. Well, now you can tell them as a member through Fundmyhome, you can become a homeowner because that defaulted mark can be removed. We can provide that service if you utilize our organization. There is also the possibility of lowering debt to income. These income-based repayment programs that are so popular are of many brokers calculated at 1% of the total balance monthly as a monthly payment. So if you owe $60,000 or $80,000, for example, 80, it would be $800 a month, which is for many significant when it comes to debt to income. But we have dealt with the Department of Education, and they understand the issue, and there is now a way to report to the Credit Bureau with amortizations and programs where Fundmyhome.org can now assist people that normally would not qualify in the debt to income ratio. They might very possibly qualify because over the last 6 months, our organization has partnered with not only GoFundMe, but realtors and mortgage brokers. But now we are going full steam with Fundmyhome because Fundmyhome has the mission statement that our company has. So I believe that Fundmyhome, as a member, you can now go recruit people with defaulted student loans, people that normally would be denied a mortgage, that do not have the money for down payment, and you can tell them, I can get you into a home. And that is the amazing opportunity through fundmyhome.org.
Wow, that's exciting, Christian. I appreciate you sharing that. So really, bottom line is there's increased probabilities and possibilities for homeowners all over the country that normally couldn't get a mortgage from any bank, let alone through our preferred lender. That's great news.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is exclusive to Fundmyhome. We got to understand one thing for all the members that are listening. This is exclusive to Fundmyhome. These are programs that has been negotiated with the Department of Education, and the debt to income, because there's certain parameters and certain people just don't qualify with mountains of debt. Now, because we can lower their debt to income with student loans, will now fit the parameters, and even people in garnishment, even people that are defaulted, even those people can now become home owners through fundmyhome.org.
Wow. So I love that word exclusive. That means that, you know, this program is going to be the spearhead of what's going to qualify. I can't even give the number, but it opens wide open, you know, those parameters that are normally closed. So that's huge. Not only that, without, you know, no income or asset restrictions, and the lowering of the credit score requirements, and not being limited to, you know, first-time home buyers, first, second, third, or investment property up to 4 units, the ability to pay off existing outstanding collections, and now to absolve the student loans and being exclusive through Fundmyhome to be able to offer that in the marketplace. That is very huge.
And one thing I would like to add for every member listening to this webinar is that for fundmyhome.org now can tap into a market that don't even qualify for an FHA mortgage because of a defaulted student loans. So there is not only an exclusive opportunity, there is a completely untapped market and an opportunity awaiting for the members of Fundmyhome to tap into that other mortgage brokers and other realtors cannot touch.
Wow. So, okay, great. So not only can we open the doors wide open, but this breaks new ground in the industry because,
Exactly.
it supersedes the ability because even, other, like mortgage brokers cannot even work with this program, and we're exclusive to it. That is beyond huge. I know Carlos is in the background there, and he's just ecstatic what this can do, not only for us merchant members to be able to offer this and to gain financial prosperity, but in our forefront is we're able to create homeowners where normally anyone else couldn't, and that's going to be exclusive to us. That is huge.
What if there was a national company working in collaboration with a 501c3 public foundation, major lenders, title companies, realtors, and builders in order to provide home buyers with the non-repayable grants they need to cover a substantial portion of their down payment and closing costs? What if that company went a step further by making these grants available without income restrictions and helped home buyers increase their purchasing power by paying off old collections, reducing credit score requirements, and collaborating with banks in order to bring them to close with zero or little out of pocket? What if that company created a business opportunity as a peer-to-peer social media referring society that pays its associate members $3,200 in marketing fees down to 8 levels for every home buyer that entered into a purchase agreement, even if that purchase agreement never closed? That company has arrived. Let's say that your friend wanted to buy a $250,000 home, and the typical amount needed from her to purchase that home without assistance was $20,000. Thanks to you telling her about us and our down payment assistance, she would need less than $5,000 to close. Or maybe even zero or little out of pocket to close. You heard me right, zero or little out of pocket. Additionally, she may decide to become an associate member and refer John, who then refers other home buyers. When that happens, everyone would earn substantial income from making home ownership happen. With us, associate members earn override commissions. Our company pays $3,200 per transaction down through 8 levels of associates on every purchase contract that their buyers enters into, even if that transaction never closes. No waiting for the sale to close. You are paid within days of the signed purchase agreement. The best part of this is that our associate members don't need a mortgage or a real estate license and don't have the added responsibility to process transactions. There will be associate members who will build large teams and earn tens of thousands of dollars per month, even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Will you be one of these associates? You can get started as either a home buyer or an associate member today, maybe even both. Get back to that person that sent you this video and let's get you started. Contact this associate member today.
Fundmyhome.org. Homebuyer Success Training. Our best customer is an educated consumer. Credit scores. TransUnion. Equifax. Experian. Fundmyhome.org requires of all its down payment assistance recipients that they know their credit scores before they proceed to apply for down payment assistance. Understanding credit scores. A credit score is a numerical expression based on a level analysis of a person's credit files to represent the creditworthiness of an individual. A credit score is primarily based on a credit report from information typically sourced from credit bureaus. A credit score is a 3-digit number that relates to how likely borrowers are to repay debt. Lenders use it to decide whether they'll approve borrowers for a credit card, automobile loan, or mortgage. There are 3 main credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. These credit bureaus calculate and create credit scores ranging from 300 to 850, based on their own proprietary models. Scores are partly based on the length of time of credit accounts, how often payments are made on time, and the ratio of account balances as they relate to credit limits. Credit scores do not factor race, gender, religion, marital status or national origin. Credit Karma. An easy way of obtaining credit scores is through Credit Karma, an American multinational personal finance company that provides free credit scores and credit reports from two of the national credit bureaus, TransUnion and Equifax. Credit Karma also provides a credit score simulator, which simulates the effect of financial actions on a user's credit score. Now that you are aware that Fundmyhome.org requires that all its down payment assistance recipients know their credit scores before they proceed to apply for down payment assistance, got acquainted with the three main credit reporting bureaus, and have a basic understanding of what credit scores are, how they are calculated, how they affect your credit rating, and where you can go to get your credit scores and a free copy of your credit report. Let us show you how easily you can obtain your credit scores through Credit Karma. Ready to learn how to get a Credit Karma account? Log on to www.creditkarma.com and follow these 3 easy steps. Step 1. Create your account. Step 2. Tell them who you are. Step 3. Confirm your identity. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for more important content, our ongoing success, and the happy stories of our down payment assistance recipients. Fundmyhome.org. Homebuyer Success Training. Our best customer is an educated consumer. Workflow. From application to close. Customer Service Department. At the end of this Homebuyer Success Training, you will be provided with the telephone number to call our Customer Service Department to speak with one of our customer care representatives, pre-qualification specialists, to complete your pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis. He or she will confirm the dollar amount of your potential eligibility and help you match it against the market conditions of your local real estate market. He or she will then guide you through the application process and supportive documentation. Note: there are no fees associated with Fundmyhome.org, no application fee, no broker fee or added fees or any kind. Nevertheless, there will be certain upfront costs associated and needed from all homebuyers to initiate the purchase of their new homes, which must be paid out of homebuyers' own funds. Credit report, earnest deposit, appraisal report and property inspection report. Note: before applying for down payment assistance, Fundmyhome.org requires that all homebuyers get familiarized with the following content. Frequently asked questions. Workflow. Down payment assistance calculator. Zillow.com. Supportive documentation. Note: Fundmyhome.org requires that all homebuyers utilize our down payment assistance calculator before they begin their buying process to predetermined dollar amount of their potential eligibility, approximate monthly payment, approximate cash to close needed out of homebuyers' own funds. Search on Zillow.com to become familiarized with their local real estate market. Note: Fundmyhome.org requires that all homebuyers visit the homebuyers registration page to get a customer ID number before they call customer service to complete their pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis. Let's review. Pre-qualification call to our customer service department. Homebuyers call our customer service department with their new customer ID number to complete their pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis. The approximate length of time needed for this call is 1 hour. The pre-qualification questionnaire is conducted to reconfirm potential eligibility for purchase price, approximate monthly payment, approximate cash to close needed out of homebuyers' own funds. Needs analysis is conducted to establish the specific details of homebuyers' requirements: type, price, location and description of property, distance from work and school, special needs for worship and hospitals, etc. A preliminary property search will be conducted to reconfirm that the potential eligibility matches local real estate market conditions. Pre-approval period. Should the pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis yield positive results, homebuyer proceeds to complete their online application and upload their supportive documentation. Note: Fundmyhome.org's preferred lenders do not work with mortgage pre-qualification letters. We only work with actual government-backed pre-approvals obtained directly from the actual Fannie Mae Freddie Mac interfaces, which specify the exact terms and conditions of the mortgage loan and what is needed to process it and close it. Fundmyhome.org pre-approves your down payment assistance within 5 to 7 days of receipt of application and supportive documentation. The preferred lender pre-approves your mortgage loan within 5 to 7 days of receipt of application and supportive documentation. The preferred lender submits your loan application and supportive documentation directly into the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac interface, conventional FHA, USDA or VA, to obtain a DU or LP approved eligible loan pre-approval. The findings of the DU eligible loan pre-approval specify the terms and conditions of your loan approval and what is needed to process and close your transaction in 30 to 45 days. Meet your team. Fundmyhome.org assigns you to one of its preferred realtors. Your realtor searches and emails you listing information on available properties that closely match your buying criteria and sets up appointments for you to visit and view your selected properties. Fundmyhome.org assigns you to one of its preferred lenders who will complete and process your loan application. Fundmyhome.org assigns you to one of its preferred title agents who will arrange for and process all the details pertaining to title work and close the purchase transaction between you and your seller. Shop for your new home. Visit and view selected properties with Realtor. Choose the home you wish to purchase. Negotiate terms and conditions of sale. Sign purchase agreement. Give seller earnest deposit. Earnest deposit deposited directly with preferred title company. Earnest deposit paid for out of buyer's own funds. Earnest deposit protected by terms and conditions of the contract. Earnest deposit is suggested to be a minimum of $3,000. Fundmyhome.org does not receive or handle earnest deposits. Submission of the signed purchase contract to bank. The fully counter-signed purchase agreement. Along with the loan application, all supportive documentation and DU or LP eligible mortgage loan pre-approval are promptly submitted to bank for processing and closing. Bank emails homebuyer loan disclosures loan estimate. Homebuyer acknowledges receipt of loan disclosures loan estimate. Bank is now authorized to order the appraisal report. Mortgage loan processing time frame is typically 30 to 45 days. Appraisal report. Bank orders appraisal report at an approximate cost of $450. Paid for by homebuyer. Property inspection period. Note: with the exception of new construction, residential real estate is typically bought and sold as is, with the right to inspect. Which means that buyers purchase the property as is and sellers are exempt from any obligation to warrant the condition of their properties and are exempt from any obligation to repair them. As such, it is highly recommended that buyers hire a professional home inspector to inspect the condition of the subject property during the property inspection period of the contract. Property inspections are optional, yet highly recommended. Realtor orders a property inspection report at an approximate cost of $350. Paid for by homebuyer. As per the covenants of the property inspection period clause of the contract, homebuyers have the right to cancel the purchase transaction and be released from all of its contractual obligations, provided that they cancel the contract within the property inspection period, at which event, homebuyers are also entitled to be refunded the full amount of their earnest deposit. The property inspection period is typically 7 calendar days. Final loan approval. Homebuyer notifies seller of homebuyer's receipt of loan approval within the loan approval period. As stipulated within the purchase agreement. The loan approval period is typically 30 days. Clear to close. Your mortgage loan is clear to close upon the bank's satisfactory completion of their underwriting process. The closing of the purchase of your new home takes place at the offices of the title company in 3 to 4 days after the loan is clear to close. Loan closing. Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated. A 501c3 nonprofit organization. Wire transfers the funds allocated for down payment assistance on behalf of homebuyer. Bank proceeds to wire transfer funds to title company and emails funding docs. Homebuyer wire transfers to title company what remaining funds are needed to close. Seller signs seller's docs. Homebuyer signs buyer's docs, mortgage and note. Title company closes purchase transaction. Homebuyer receives keys and closing documents. The end. Homebuyer becomes homeowner. Welcome to Fundmyhome.org. Customer Success Training. Our best customer is an educated consumer. United States Department of Veteran Affairs. United States Department of Agriculture. Zero out of pocket. One of the ways in which we can help you purchase your home with zero out of pocket is by having our preferred lenders fund your mortgage loan through a mortgage loan guarantee program guaranteed by either the United States Department of Veteran Affairs or the United States Department of Agriculture. United States Department of Veteran Affairs. Mortgage-approved United States veterans holding VA certificates of eligibility will always close with Fundmyhome.org with zero out-of-pocket, regardless of what city or town they wish to purchase their homes in. Be sure to include a copy of your VA certificate of eligibility when you submit your supportive documentation. USDA United States Department of Agriculture. All mortgage-qualified homebuyers approved by our lenders through the United States Department of Agriculture Mortgage Guarantee Program and purchasing a home located inside of an USDA-designated area will always close with Fundmyhome.org with zero out-of-pocket. Follow this link to confirm that your home address is located inside of an USDA-designated area. Note: approximately 90% of cities and towns in the United States are located inside of USDA-designated areas. Welcome to the USDA Property Eligibility site. Now that you are aware of how a mortgage loan guaranteed by the United States Department of Agriculture in combination with Fundmyhome.org can potentially help you purchase your dream home with zero out-of-pocket and realize that most of the cities and townships in the United States are located inside of USDA-designated areas, you can now use the USDA website to determine for yourself whether the home you wish to purchase would be eligible for this program assistance. To determine if a property is located in an eligible USDA area, click on the Single Housing Guarantee link located on the top left side of your screen. Then, you must first accept their property eligibility disclaimer. To proceed with viewing the eligibility map, you must accept this disclaimer by clicking on their acceptance button located at the right bottom of your screen. Once you have accepted their disclaimer, a map of the United States will appear where you can enter the address of the home you wish to purchase. Please note that the areas highlighted in orange color are outside of USDA-designated areas and do not qualify for this program. On the other hand, areas highlighted in white color are inside of USDA-designated areas and do qualify for this program. The good news is that approximately 90% of the map is highlighted in white color, which means that there is a very high probability that the home you wish to purchase is inside of a USDA-designated area and would potentially qualify for this program assistance. You can use the zoom tool located on the left side of your screen to zoom in or zoom out of the map of the United States.
What if there was a national company working in collaboration with a 501c3 public foundation, major lenders, title companies, realtors, and builders in order to provide home buyers with the non-repayable grants they need to cover a substantial portion of their down payment and closing costs? What if that company went a step further by making these grants available without income restrictions and helped homebuyers increase their purchasing power by paying off old collections, reducing credit score requirements, and collaborating with banks in order to bring them to close with zero or little out of pocket? What if that company created a business opportunity as a peer-to-peer social media referring society that pays its associate members $3,200 in marketing fees down to 8 levels for every homebuyer that entered into a purchase agreement, even if that purchase agreement never closed? That company has arrived. Let's say that your friend wanted to buy a $250,000 home, and the typical amount needed from her to purchase that home without assistance was $20,000. Thanks to you telling her about us and our down payment assistance, she would need less than $5,000 to close, and maybe even zero or little out of pocket to close. You heard me right, zero or little out of pocket. Additionally, she may decide to become an associate member and refer John, who then refers other home buyers. When that happens, everyone would earn substantial income from making homeownership happen. With us, associate members earn override commissions. Our company pays $3,200 per transaction down through 8 levels of associates on every purchase contract that their buyers enter into, even if that transaction never closes. No waiting for the sale to close. You are paid within days of the signed purchase agreement. The best part of this is that our associate members don't need a mortgage or real estate license and don't have the added responsibility to process transactions. There will be associate members who will build large teams and earn tens of thousands of dollars per month, even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Will you be one of these associates? You can get started as either a homebuyer or an associate member today, maybe even both. Get back to that person that sent you this video and let's get you started. Contact this associate member today. What if there was a national company working in collaboration with a 501c3 public foundation, major lenders, title companies, realtors, and builders in order to provide home buyers with the non-repayable grants they need to cover a substantial portion of their down payment and closing costs? What if that company went a step further by making these grants available without income restrictions and helped home buyers increase their purchasing power by paying off old collections, reducing credit score requirements, and collaborating with banks in order to bring them to close with zero or little out of pocket? What if that company created a business opportunity as a peer-to-peer social media referring society that pays its associate members $3,200 in marketing fees down to 8 levels for every home buyer that entered into a purchase agreement, even if that purchase agreement never closed? That company has arrived. Let's say that your friend wanted to buy a $250,000 home, and the typical amount needed from her to purchase that home without assistance was $20,000. Thanks to you telling her about us and our down payment assistance, she would need less than $5,000 to close, and maybe even zero or little out of pocket to close. You heard me right, zero or little out of pocket. Additionally, she may decide to become an associate member and refer John, who then refers other home buyers. When that happens, everyone would earn substantial income for making home ownership happen. With us, associate members earn override commissions. Our company pays $3,200 per transaction down through 8 levels of associates on every purchase contract that their buyers enter into, even if that transaction never closes. No waiting for the sale to close. You are paid within days of the signed purchase agreement. The best part of this is that our associate members don't need a mortgage or real estate license and don't have the added responsibility to process transactions. There will be associate members who will build large teams and earn tens of thousands of dollars per month, even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Will you be one of these associates? You can get started as either a home buyer or an associate member today, maybe even both. Get back to that person that sent you this video and let's get you started. Contact this associate member today.
Welcome everybody to our call, and yes, I want to definitely comment on Eric Wohl's training, because I've taken some of his training classes and he's a master in the industry, and prospecting is the key. And when you join Fund My Home, remember the $49 that we have for enrollment, that $49 is your business. It will allow you to get traction very quickly. When I first was introduced to the company, I took a look at it and I thought it was kind of cartoonish. I'm looking for a more so-called sophisticated way of presenting my business model. But it was my naivety not knowing that today these type of doodles attract attention because they're fun, they have a lot of impact, and it's only 2 minutes long. And today, with the busy world that we have, people can't spend a lot of time, you can't attract a lot of attention. So I took the doodle and I initially played with it. I sent it out to a couple of people just to see if I'd get a reaction. And that's what actually brought me into the business. My phone started ringing. People wanted to know, what was this incredible program? Was this for real? So guys, the first step, when you get the doodle, you want to make a list, and Eric spoke about it on the training. And because we're offering such a unique opportunity in terms of home ownership as well as financial income, you want to get this out to everyone, and no judgment, because you don't know whose brother, whose sister, whose cousin who just got married, who's now received an inheritance, that's looking for a home. And this little doodle in 2 minutes is designed for what purpose? To create an interest, to allow you to have a conversation so you're not looking like or attempting to sell anything. So I started sending the doodle out, and all of a sudden I get a phone call. I saw that little cartoon thing that you sent me. What's it about? Well, now they're asking me questions. I'm not calling up saying, hey, I've got this great program and I can help you make money and I'm bumming around. I'm now answering their questions. And of course, we all know from our studies, we're a 501c3. We are a nonprofit organization with a mission statement to put 1 million families into homes within the next 30 years. We do it by offering a wonderful non-repayable grant and closing assistance program. I'd love to give you all the details. is this something that you are actually looking for? Do you know anyone that's interested? And of course, they'll say, well, yeah, I'm asking a question. So again, you don't have to be a salesperson. You can just give them the highlights. They may mention the fact, well, I've tried to get a home, but my FICO scores weren't quite up to par. You can let them know that we certainly can help them out in that area, because we actually help individuals get homes with FICOs as low as 580. But the big thing is, I want to know more about the down payment assistance, because what's happening with most people, and you guys know it, if you're paying a rent today, it's so expensive. The rent is a lot more than what you would possibly pay with a mortgage. So a lot of folks are trying, they get closer and closer to saving the money, and then someone gets sick, they have a car problem, they have just, things that happen in life, and that little nest egg is diminished, and now they're back trying to save it again. So when they see what we have, they want information, they want to know more about it. So what I did was, I made it an objective. I took my cell phone and I said, I'm not going to judge, and I'm going to send out doodles a day. That was my initial, in the beginning, I had a lot on my plate, so I said I can squeeze out 5 minutes a day to do this doodle, and I started doing it day in and day out. So at the end of a week, I had already 25. The next week, I had another 25. I actually had 50 people that I had sent it to in a relatively short time. It wasn't a lot of stress in a 2 to 3 week period. Now, some of them called back, and I explained it to them, and we're going to talk about in the next phase. I got them actually on the webinar, and they have now joined our wonderful opportunity, and they're part of the business. Others, I didn't hear back from. So when I sent out the doodle, I would always say, take a look at this, write down your questions, and give me a call back, and we'll talk about it. And of course, some did, but a lot didn't. So I called back again, and I keep a book Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I make sure each day to see how many names I put and did I send the doodle out. Because one thing you have to do is be accountable. Sometimes we think we've done a whole lot of work, but if we actually look at it, we realize that, oh, gee, I only sent out 2 doodles. I only introduced it to one person because things happen. But at least you know that the results you're getting are based on the time that you put towards that action, and you're not thinking that it doesn't work. Sometimes you do a lot of busy work, but when you synthesize it to see what you did towards actually introducing people to the business model, if you write it down, you realize that, well, gee, I really only put it out to 5 people, so I guess that's why I'm getting results. And then you don't feel that you're not successful. You just realize you have to add more. So as I mentioned, I put the list Monday through Friday. I put the name of the person, of course, the phone number, and then I wait 3 days to 5 days, and I call back and I say, hey, John, I sent you that little doodle. They said, what's a doodle? I said, well, that's what we call it, that little a wonderful program that helps people to get home ownership. I saw that. What was that about? And then I get an opportunity to chat with them. I invite them to our Monday evening call, or Tuesday, Wednesday. They get a chance to see all the facts, the details, and 3 out of 5 right away will join and come on board. But the doodle allows you not to have to explain a lot of the details. It says enough that you can simply answer their questions. So I'm recommending, and what I did was I got the cell phone. I went to everybody on that phone, and I didn't discriminate or try to judge if they could afford it, if they needed it. That wasn't an issue. It was just get the word out. And I learned something years ago from a millionaire actually in the networking business, and he talked about a place called Sinaloa, a little town in Mexico. And he said the one key to being successful, so you don't have to worry about selling, because they were selling a product, not a wonderful service like we have. But he said safety in numbers, and the law of average. And basically what he was saying is if you hit enough numbers, the average numbers will start to fall in your favor. And since I've been doing this, there's some individuals that I didn't think would, I didn't judge them, so I sent out the doodle, but had I thought about it, I would not have sent it to them. They have called me up with referrals. I couldn't get them on the training. They weren't interested in seeing the model, but they've called me back, 2 or 3 people, and said, hey, are you still doing that thing that helps people get into homes with a little down? They remembered that part, and I've said yes. And I've gotten 2 or 3 referrals in the short time I've been with the company. So you want to blast it out. You want to get it to as many people as possible. Any folks you've had that you've worked with past companies, you go through your list. If you happen to recently get married, if you have a marriage list, if you have friends from high school and college, folks on Facebook, and I'm going to do a real in-depth Facebook training down the road. But for Facebook, this is really great because you have friends that you have been speaking to, that you have a relationship with. What you do. And I have to tell you, and I know you guys have experienced, when you tell people what you do, people say you do what? You actually help people get into homes with no money down, or just say no money down, but with partial assistance for down payment and closing, and it's non-repayable. Tell me more. And once they say tell me more, we can sit back and relax and simply take them to the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday overview, get their questions answered, and they either come in as an associate, and sometimes, of course, associates also are home buyers. So this doodle is truly your marketing piece, but you just can't send it out and not follow up. Follow up. Follow up is the key in this business and in any business, because when you follow up, you get to see you get a dialogue going. You can casually, once again, not sell, but have a conversation because they're asking you questions, and you guys who've been training know the answers because you've been on the calls, and now you have a great prospect. So follow-up is key, and more importantly, this doodle will get everybody off to a really, really quick start. And for myself, my business has really grown, and this has been, for me, one of the best tools I've ever used in terms of getting business over and over again. And you know, you can send it anywhere in the country, and you only pay one time the $49. That's what you pay when you enroll with Fundmyhome. That $49 is actually for this doodle, and this is your marketing piece. And of course, you can add a lot of other additional services and other ways to expand, but this alone can build your business. So once again, I'm recommending, and Eric said 2 a day, so whatever's comfortable. But when you're on the job, when you're walking, when you're talking to people, there's so many people that would love to know what we do because they're in a situation where they are indeed trying to get a home. They know somebody that can get a home. They're looking to buy a second home. It's just a multitude of different ways that our service can make a difference in their lives. So guys, we just want to get that out there. And as I said, one of the first tools that the company has that I'm really impressed with is this doodle, because it actually works. It allows you to have that conversation, and it's going to be a great tool to build your business.
Every day, people all over Malaysia are searching for a home, to buy, to rent, but it isn't easy. Some don't have the cash for a down payment. Others can't afford to make monthly loan payments. Most have no choice but to keep on renting. Thankfully, there's now an alternative. Fundmyhome. It's a whole new way of owning a home. Here's how it works. Let's start with the buyer. Once he finds his dream home on Fundmyhome, he pays 20% of the purchase price. Where does he get this? From his savings, or family and friends, or say a personal loan from a bank. This 20% payment is all the buyer needs to pay for the next 5 years, unlike a housing loan where a buyer would have to make the down payment and monthly repayments, which largely go towards servicing interest. Why rent when there's Fundmyhome? Let's say he is currently renting a home. He doesn't need any upfront cash. His monthly rental is 1,200 ringgit. At the end of 5 years, he would have paid 72,000 ringgit on rental. But since he rented, his ownership of the property remains at zero. On the other hand, say he decides to use Fundmyhome to purchase a property priced at 300,000 ringgit. He will need to pay 60,000 ringgit. He can pay this with his savings, borrow from friends and family, or take a 5-year personal loan of 60,000 ringgit, say at an interest rate of 7% per annum. His monthly repayment on this loan will be 1,200 ringgit, same as paying rental. At the end of 5 years, he would also have paid 72,000 ringgit. However, the big difference is, with this payment, he owns 20% of the home value under Fundmyhome, unlike renting. Fundmyhome helps you save towards owning a home, and you get to move in right away. Who pays the balance 80% of the purchase price? Institutional investors then come in to pay the balance 80% of the purchase price. The buyer's home is now fully paid for. Why would institutions fund 80% of the home? Investors are paid returns for the 5-year period. This comes from a portion of the purchase price that developers set aside at the time of sale. Otherwise, it would not be possible to get investors to fund the 80% cost of the home. What happens after this? The buyer is the legal owner of the home, and he can occupy and enjoy the home during the 5 years. At the 5th anniversary, the buyer can choose to sell the home or stay on by repaying investors with a housing loan or savings, or roll over using Fundmyhome, all based on the prevailing market value. What happens if the value of the home increases after 5 years? The purchase price of the home was 300,000 ringgit. At the end of 5 years, let's say the home is now worth 350,000 ringgit. 20% of the home value is now 70,000 ringgit. To maintain 20% ownership of the home value, he will have to top up just 10,000 ringgit since he has already paid 60,000 ringgit. On the other hand, if he had rented, he would have to raise 70,000 ringgit for 20% ownership of the home value. What happens if the value of the home decreases? In comparison to renting, the homeowner will never be worse off. Even if the home price falls by 10%, the buyer will still have 10% of the home value. If the price of the home falls by 20%, he is still not worse off compared to renting. The positive value created will help him to eventually own 100% of the home. What role do developers play in Fundmyhome? Fundmyhome aligns the interests of developers and homeowners. Developers receive 80% of the property price at the point of sale. The balance 20% is paid to them at the end of year 5, only if the property price appreciates by 20%. If the price of the property remains the same, the developer loses that 20%. Is Fundmyhome for everyone? Fundmyhome is open to every Malaysian who is a first-time home buyer. It is a new alternative to financing the purchase of a home. If you have access to a housing loan, prefer not to share your capital gains with others, and if you expect the home price to rise by 17% or more after 5 years, then a housing loan is better. However, the risk of losses due to a fall in the home price is also higher with a housing loan. With Fundmyhome, your loss is limited to the capital you have invested, which is 20% of the purchase price of the home. It all depends on how you want to manage your funds and your tolerance for risk. Most importantly, Fundmyhome provides you a first step onto the housing ladder.
Need down payment assistance or a business opportunity? Introducing Fundmyhome.org, a peer-to-peer social media referring society. Key benefits of what makes our down payment assistance and business opportunity so different and attractive. No application or broker fees. 5 to 7 day approvals. Close in 30 to 45 days from signed purchase agreement. Close with zero or little out of pocket. Owner occupied for residential properties up to 4 units. No income limits. 580 credit scores and less than 580 credit scores. Non-repayable. No liens or second mortgages. Student loan forgiveness program. Not limited to first-time home buyers. No products to sell or consume. No competition. Enhanced customer loyalty. For the people by the people. No licenses required. Doing well by doing good. What is Fundmyhome.org? Fundmyhome.org is a down payment assistance program managed in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated, a 501c3 non-profit organization providing homeownership opportunities. Zero down payment. We provide home buyers with money for down payment and closing costs. Our goal is to help bring home buyers to close with zero or little out of pocket. Fundmyhome.org is not a lender. Nevertheless, Fundmyhome.org helps its preferred lenders approve more home buyers by helping to provide funds needed for down payment and closing costs. Also, on a case-by-case basis, it may provide home buyers with the funds they need to pay off old collection accounts. This helps to lower home buyers' debt-to-income ratios, therefore increasing their purchasing power. No income limits. Unlike most down payment assistance programs from cities, counties and states, which limit home buyers' income to only 50 to 80% of their area median household income, Fundmyhome.org does not have income limits. Working the proper sequence. Cities, counties and states require home buyers to first enter into purchase agreements with earnest deposits before applying for their down payment assistance. Fundmyhome.org approves homebuyers before they engage sellers into purchase agreements. Non-repayable down payment assistance. Unlike most cities, counties and states, which give down payment assistance in the form of zero interest, deferred payment second mortgages, our down payment assistance is non-repayable. It is gifted without liens or second mortgages. Funds are wire transferred at closing by the 501c3 nonprofit organization. Student loans. Fundmyhome.org helps banks approve home buyers who hold high student loan balances and are defaulted student loans. Fundmyhome.org helps home buyers burdened by student loans. This is done by restructuring all accounts, whether current or defaulted, which then yields drastically reduced loan balances, terms and payments. Lower student loan payments means reduced debt-to-income ratios, which then means increased purchasing power. Paid as agreed restructured student loans boost credit scores, which then improves homeownership opportunities. This is neither credit repair nor a temporary fix. The restructuring of student loans is permanent, valid and lawful. Now, let's talk about student loans for a moment. As of June 2018, Forbes reported that the total U.S. student loan debt was $1.5 trillion and that approximately 44 million people had student loan debt. The average student loan balance per person is near $40,000, while some people owe $100,000 or more. Listen to these folks. On average, 44 million people own nearly $40,000 each in student loans. The challenge with that is that high student loan debt and/or defaulted or delinquent student loans hinder homeownership dreams. The good news is that Fundmyhome.org, with its student loan forgiveness program, can help home buyers achieve their homeownership goals even when they have defaulted or delinquent student loans or have high student loan debt at the time of their initial application. 580 credit score. Fundmyhome.org helps approve home buyers with credit scores as low as 580 on a case-by-case basis. Fundmyhome.org will attempt to help approve home buyers with less than 580 credit scores. Fundmyhome.org also helps home buyers increase credit scores by helping to insert their rental history, utilities, mobile phone bills and insurance payments on their credit reports. Less than 580 credit scores. Fundmyhome.org will help approve home buyers with less than 580 credit scores, provided that 1. They first use our down payment assistance calculator to determine for themselves the dollar amount of their potential eligibility and match it to their local real estate market conditions. 2. They do not have active back pay child support. Do not have active judgments or tax liens. Do not have foreclosures, deeds in lieu of foreclosures or bankruptcies in last 3 years. 3. They pay for the cost of inserting their rental history, utilities, mobile phone bills and insurance payments on their credit reports at an approximate cost of $200. 4. They pay to reinstate and restructure their delinquent or defaulted student loans at an approximate cost of $400. 5. They pay Fundmyhome.org a $495 refundable retainer. This retainer is only refundable in such cases where Fundmyhome.org is unable to approve the transaction. Otherwise, the retainer will be applied towards the homebuyer's closing costs at the day that the closing of their home takes place. The refundable retainer is not an application fee, and it only applies to those with less than 580 credit scores. The refundable retainer is used as an indicator of the homebuyer's willingness to proceed until their buying process is completed. 5 to 7 days approvals. Applications can be decisioned within 5 to 7 days of receipt of home buyer's completed application and supportive documentation. Close in 30 to 45 days. Home buyers typically close within 30 to 45 days of signed purchase agreements. Best of all, with Fundmyhome.org, there are no application fees or broker fees. No first-time homebuyer classes to take or pay for. No income limits. The down payment assistance is non-repayable. Nevertheless, homebuyers pay for their own credit report, $39. Their earnest deposit to their sellers, which Fundmyhome.org recommends that homebuyers have a minimum of $3,000 for earnest deposits. Their appraisal reports at an average cost of $450. Their home inspection reports at an average cost of $350. Please note that U.S. veterans and those purchasing homes inside USDA-designated areas will always recover their initial out-of-pocket expenses at closing, as well as those who Fundmyhome.org is able to bring to close with zero out-of-pocket. Some conditions may apply. What's the next step? Good question. Just do it again. Payday. Once your homebuyer enters into a purchase agreement, your job is done. Fundmyhome.org pays $3,200 per transaction, paid down between you and 8 levels of overrides. Compensation takes place upon the culmination of the property inspection period, provided that homebuyer remains under contract. You do not have to wait until the transaction closes to get paid. There are never chargebacks. Even if transactions fail to close. Weekly payroll, what comes in on Thursday is paid on Friday. Coming soon. What we have on the way. Nationwide TV campaign. As you know, we are preparing for our nationwide TV commercial, which will air in 47 states. Our TV commercial campaign is expected to generate strong interest from down payment assistance recipients. Certified Fundmyhome.org associate members are expected to participate in the cost and response of this upcoming TV commercial campaign. This cost to associate members is payroll deducted. Callers are pre-screened by professional operators at the call center, working for the TV production company, for 680 credit scores, $85,000 yearly income, time frame and W-2 employment status. Our goal is to create 1 million new home buyers. Pay it forward. Share the Fundmyhome.org opportunity. It starts with you. Together we can achieve our 1 million new homeowners challenge. So far so good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in the next slide, we will showcase Fundmyhome.org's lucrative compensation plan, which pays $750 in marketing fees plus overrides paid on 8 subsequent levels. All totaling $3,200 per transaction. Please note that Fundmyhome.org does not pay for recruitment, it pays for personal production and overrides from the production of your team. Also, keep in mind that personally sponsoring new associate members is one of the only 2 necessary qualifiers needed to receive overrides. The second qualifier needed to receive overrides is the personal submission of at least 1 down payment assistance recipient per year. Okay, so let's talk about the marketing fees. Of course, you know that when you bring someone who gets down payment assistance from Fundmyhome.org, you earn $750. You also have the option of building a team that can go down 8 levels of overrides. So to qualify for 8 levels of overrides, you have to personally sponsor 8 new associate members. If you want to qualify for 4 levels, you would then personally sponsor 4 associate members, etc. So let's give you an example of what would happen if you personally sponsor 3 new associate members and you and they each refer 1 down payment assistance recipient for the month. In this example, you would earn $750 from your own transaction, plus $500 overrides from each referral brought in by your 3 personally sponsored associate members. For a total of $2,250 for the month, which is not bad for a part-time situation and only having a total of 4 people in your team. In this next example, if you personally sponsor 8 new associate members and they sponsor 1 new associate member each, and you and they each refer 1 down payment assistance recipient per month, which is only 12 transactions each per year. In this example, you would have a total of 65 associate members in your team. Your income potential would be $20,350 for the month. A significant amount of money, ladies and gentlemen, for only having 65 associate members in your team and personally referring 1 down payment assistance recipient per month. And if you're looking at the chart, you can see how the $3,200 in marketing fees is paid out between you and your team. $750 is paid to you on your personal production, then the rest is paid as overrides down to 8 levels. $500 in the first level, $450 in the second level, $400 in the third level, $350 in the fourth level, $300 in the fifth level, $250 in the sixth level, $150 in the seventh level, and $50 in the eighth level. All this totals $3,200 in marketing fees per referral. In this third example, if you personally sponsor 8 new associate members and they sponsor 2 new associate members each, and you and they each refer 1 down payment assistance recipient per year, not 1 per month, only 1 per year. Ladies and gentlemen, in this example you would have a total of 2,041 associate members in your team and would earn over $23,000 for the month. A significant amount of money. Now, in this final example, if you personally sponsor 8 new associate members and they sponsor 3 new associate members each, that means that you would have 8 associate members in your first level of overrides, 24 on your next, each level increasing by multiples of 3 for a total team of 26,241 associate members. And if you and they each refer 1 down payment assistance recipient per year, not 1 per month, only 1 per year. Ladies and gentlemen, In this example, your income potential would be well over $200,000 for the month. An extraordinary amount of money. All of this while providing your friends and family the opportunity to achieve their homeownership goals. A sustainable duplicatable system. No products to sell. No products to consume. No mortgage or real estate license needed. FMH does not pay commissions. FMH pays marketing fees. No FTC concerns. FMH does not pay for recruiting associate members, therefore it may never be called an illegal pyramid. Highest income potential. FMH pays 1,000 times more per transaction than what other direct sales companies do. Once you've built your team, your associate members will never leave you. Home buyers are required to publicize their down payment assistance on their social media when they get a clear to close before they close. This, ladies and gentlemen, will result in more interested down payment assistance recipients for you to service. In Fundmyhome.org you have an ecosystem. Home buyers become associate members. And associate members become home buyers. This, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our brief overview of our powerful common sense business opportunity. This is your company and together we will succeed. We invite you to share Fundmyhome.org's amazing down payment assistance program and lucrative, unparalleled and personally rewarding business opportunity with all your friends and family to take a part of the Million Homes Challenge. On behalf of our staff, our associate members and our down payment assistance recipients, thank you for your interest, support, and participation in Fundmyhome.org. As we honor God in bringing our endeavor and the ownership of our company onto His hands, grace and glory, and pledge to honor God and His Son Jesus with our wealth. Every month Fundmyhome.org will donate to a charity or choice funds needed to benefit other homeowners in the communities where our associate members live. Goodbye for now. And remember, put God first. God bless everything you do. And our company.
We're going to just go over some of the sections. Okay, let me start by saying, guys, I want everyone to just take a deep breath and relax because Carlos has refined this system that a lot of you guys that are brand new or been working part-time and you're a little concerned, can I do it? Well, I'm going to tell you absolutely without a doubt, we all can do it. I know initially when I got started, a lot of what you are going to see, we actually had to memorize and had to be able to extrapolate it because we didn't have the videos. And Carlos in his wisdom recognized that today a lot of people watch videos. They look at their phone, they look at short clips. So he said, you know what, guys, I'm going to make it easier for you guys. You won't have to work so hard. I'm going to put everything in a video in detail, which allows us to first off take a look at it, get the understanding, because again, we require a lot for our customers and they deserve a lot. So we want to get it first, but they can actually look at every detail because it's on video, which we're going to talk about. They can go back, they can check things. So it's a step-by-step process. And if the home buyer follows everything that you see on Home Buyers Navigate here, they will get to completion in a relatively short time. In fact, we've had a few new associates, actually, I believe Carlos mentioned, go through everything, and it only takes 29 minutes to actually go through every aspect of it. You can do it very quickly, and we've had individuals upload documentation in 1 to 2 days, and I think even a shorter time period. So, as Carlos mentioned, we have to realize, number one, we're not salespeople. We are here to give the information. We're here to help educate the home buyer to allow them to know that this program does indeed work. And this, for most folks, I'd say 99.9, this is an opportunity for these individuals to get a grant that's non-repayable with no strings attached, with no fees involved. So the first one is customer success training. So let's take a look at that just for a moment. And we're not going to spend a little time on it, but this is the one that we show on a regular basis. So start that, Ken. We're going to play just a couple of minutes so I give a little input. Go to the beginning. Okay, start from the beginning. Go ahead.
Welcome to Fundmyhome.org Customer Success Training. Our best customer is an educated consumer. High standards. We expect a lot from you. Because you deserve a lot from us. We understand that purchasing your new home may be one of the most important and exciting decisions that you will make in your lifetime. As such, we are committed to making this experience as delightful as the time you will spend in your new home. Raising the bar. With Fundmyhome.org, you will pilot through the process well-informed, well-prepared and confident of the potential outcome before you proceed with your home buying experience. In other words, for your convenience, you will be first conditionally approved by Fundmyhome.org and its preferred lenders before you engage our preferred realtors or engage a seller into contract. This training is created to help prepare our down payment assistance recipients to effectively navigate through the application process of our amazing down payment assistance program. It is important to follow each step precisely as instructed to ensure a smooth, efficient process. Notice: Fundmyhome.org is neither a lender nor a residential real estate broker. As such, it does not lend or broker mortgages, nor broker the purchase or sale of residential real estate. Fundmyhome.org is a down payment assistance program managed in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our associate members are strictly prohibited from acting as or representing themselves or Fundmyhome.org as a lender or a residential real estate broker. They are independent contractors who promote our down payment assistance. Please note: we will not sell your information to a third-party company. It is Fundmyhome.org in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization who will donate some or all the funds you need for down payment and/or closing costs. Our down payment assistance is gifted to you without liens or second mortgages. Our best customer is an educated consumer. Our goal is to share our knowledge, tools and skills with you in order to educate you and empower you with the ability to discover and decide for yourself whether you are a potential good fit for Fundmyhome.org before you apply for our down payment assistance. How familiar are you with down payment assistance programs from?
Okay, guys, I want you to see that because this is setting the stage right from the beginning with our potential home buyer. Everything they need to know: who we are, what do we do. We're not lenders, we're not realtors, what our purpose is, everything, 501c3, all of the information that they need to know to realize who they're working with is right there laid out. So as a new associate, we need to get familiar with that because there will be questions, but I want you to know Carlos has this set up perfectly and it's going to move down giving more benefits, but everything is here. So it's important when you talk to that potential home buyer that you let them know our program is very successful. We have a track record. We can get you in that dream home, but you must follow the steps. Again, we do require a lot, but you as a customer, you deserve a lot. So we want you to understand this. If there's any problems, any questions, we want to make sure you get those answers. So we want to set the stage to let people know it's all laid out right here. So let's go back to Home Buyers Navigate here, Ken. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to emphasize with that potential home buyer. The next, frequently asked questions. Now this is important, and I'm going to say this because I've had a lot of new folks call me up with all kinds of questions, and I know they're new, but we really have to study this because that home buyer or potential home buyer is going to ask questions that we as an associate should have an answer to. I'm a foreign nationalist. Can Fundmyhome help me with a grant? Can Fundmyhome help me with closing costs? We need to know the answer to that. My neighbor is going into foreclosure. They got a beautiful home. Can Fundmyhome help me to get a foreclosed property? We need to know the answer to that, which is no. I just had a bankruptcy and a foreclosure. Can I possibly qualify and get down payment assistance from Fundmyhome? The answer is yes, but restrictions apply. Okay, I just saw another beautiful home. It's 3 acres and it's a beautiful mobile home, single wide, beautiful lake, everything. Can Fundmyhome help me to acquire a down payment assistance and closing assistance on it? You need to know we don't do single wide mobile homes. So these are just some of the questions that are under frequently asked questions, which again, the magic of what we have in place, all of these questions, and Carlos has taken time to find out the majority of questions. They are right here so that potential home buyer knows who we are, what we do, how we do it, and what they need to qualify. So you guys, and I'm always looking at it over and over again, need to get very comfortable, because if you're speaking to someone and they ask a question like that, and you say, I'm not sure, I have to get back to you. Well, they might excuse it once or twice, but if they ask a series of questions and you really haven't done your homework and you don't have a clue, they're not going to have the confidence that we want to instill upon a potential home buyer. And because the information is here, it just means take some time. This is business, and as Carlos has mentioned, and you've heard Charles and all of us speak about it, this definitely, I believe, for all of us is going to be one of the biggest game changers in our life. Whether we want the money for ourselves or we want to be philanthropists and change the world, all those activities require funds. They require cash. They require money. So if you don't want it for yourself, you might have more altruistic goals. Fine, this is the vehicle. But being that this is the vehicle, we need to do our homework. We need to be on top of it. And again, it's foolproof, because even if we don't know, it's here. Okay, it's here. The potential home buyer could find the answers if they follow the steps. So let's go to the next tab. And this one is the one that we spent the most time on, because this is everything. And remember, we're not lenders. Okay, we're not real estate brokers. We are a down payment assistance program to help with down payment and closing costs. So when you get these questions, well, Lawrence, the interest rate, is it going to be favorable? Is it going to be 5.4? Do I have a PMI? I explained, that's not a question I can answer. That's not what Fundmyhome is involved in. We handle the grants, and that is based on you getting approval from the lender. So when the lender approves your contract, FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, conventional USDA, you can have that conversation and say, I don't want to pay PMI. I used to pay that. What do I need to do? And they might say, okay, you need to add X amount of dollars. You don't have PMI. If you have high FICO scores versus low FICO, meaning if you have the 580, well, you might get a different interest rate as opposed to if you have 710 or 720. But that has nothing to do with Fundmyhome. We go into action after the loan has been approved by the lender. So that's the thing you always have to take in account. Can you do it? If the lender agrees to lend you and give you a mortgage, then we can consider and do as our part of the equation. But that's the first step. The lender has to approve. That's why it's so important to have all the documentation, and we'll talk about that in its perfect sequence, clarity, so that approval can happen within 5 to 7 days. Now, this is the down payment assistance calculator, and we've been working a lot on this calculator, and this is a great tool, because when you have someone who might just be kicking the tire, well, you don't want to waste their time, but you don't want to waste your time at all. So if you have someone who's making $25,000 and he wants to get a house, and our minimum is $120,000. So remember that. We don't do less than $120,000. And when I say less, I'm talking about the lenders. The lenders will not secure a loan. So therefore, our prospective home buyer has to want a property that's at least $120,000. So that's in place. But if you have someone, for example, and they're making $20,000 a year and they want a home for $200,000, when you put it in the calculator, the Fundmyhome down payment calculator, it'll come out red, which will state the income does not merit a property at that selling price. The median price income is not in alignment with income. So you want to make sure you check the calculator. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it because we've done it over and over again. You want to get familiar with it. You want to look at, of course, line 7. That's what we're looking for, which again shows us the W-2 income. You'll speak to someone, they'll say, I'm making $120,000, but I don't want to pay Uncle Sam a lot of money, so I have this deduction and that deduction, and we understand that. But for what we do to move this through quickly, you ask the question, what's on line 7? We want to see what the W-2 says, because we can get a quick turnaround. So you look at that line 7, which is really crucial. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the Zillow in a moment. But you put that in, you take the basic information that we've been showing all week, their income, we look at the liability in terms of what their expenditures happen to be. And one thing I'll mention we haven't said too often, when it comes to a credit card, they can put the minimum payment. sometimes I'm working with someone and they'll say, oh, my credit card's $100 a month. I said, now, is that the minimum payment or is that what you choose to pay? They said, well, I choose to pay 100. I don't want this to go on forever. But what does it say as the minimum? Oh, the minimum is $15. Then we can put the $15. We don't need to put the 100. So that's something to keep in mind when you actually speak to your potential client, making sure that we put the minimum in because we want the most favorable results. We want that below 56% so that we know that this loan will be approved. So that's another key factor. And of course, going down a little bit, Ken, what you'll see on the printout, it will show how much the potential home buyer needs right here. Okay, it shows exactly or close to how much the home buyer needs after assistance. Yeah, right down there. So it shows them. And one thing that I like about Carlos, the number that we have, it's going to be, in most cases, a lot more favorable when they get the actual numbers. This is an estimate. This is, as you said, not guaranteed. It's close, but we're going to make the client happy as opposed to sad when they get the actual numbers. So we're going to deliver more than what they anticipate, which is going to help us to maintain that relationship where Fund My Home goes the distance. But if you go up a little bit, it'll show how much it is. Okay, let's take a look. Anticipated down payment, estimated closing costs, transaction out assistance, $22,000, estimated cash needed after assistance, $5,460. That's serious, guys. That's taking someone who's renting and actually now putting them in a position to move into home ownership, which is going to create generational wealth, which is going to create a legacy. I've said time and time again, my family has always had real estate. We've been blessed with some really good real estate opportunities. And without it, money for my kids going to college would have been tight. A lot of the things that I've been able to do wouldn't have happened. But with real estate, as you guys know, you can buy a property, and depending if you get lucky and you're in the right area, in 10 years, you can have $100,000 in equity. It would have been really difficult to save $100,000 in 10 years renting and working a regular job. So this is freedom. So we want to really help these individuals, including ourselves, experience the freedom that we were birthed on this planet to experience. Brought here to experience the abundance and prosperity that this life, this human experience has to offer. But sometimes if finances are not in place, it really paints a different picture. So that's part of what the Fund My Home mission is. Let everybody experience the abundance, the joy, what this life can really offer. So that's enough for the calculator. But you want to play with it, get familiar with it, get very comfortable. Now, Zillow, this is another aspect. When you're talking to that potential home buyer, and of course they're looking at it themselves, they need to know the median price for the home in the area that they're looking. They can put in the zip code, they can put 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a 2-car garage, patio, whatever it is, and Zillow will let them know 2,000 square feet, whatever it is, it will let them know what the median price is for that area for the property they're looking for, so that when they put the request of what they are looking to get as a loan, it's in alignment, it's congruent. So if they look and they find out a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in that zip code with the patio or the backyard averages $350,000, then that's the amount that we can put in initially. Now, once we look at the debt to income, if it's well below, then we can increase it and actually say, well, 350 is the average for this area, but according to the numbers, you could qualify for 450,000. So if you prefer to get a more expensive property, you can. Now, one thing occurred to me, guys, that was kind of funny. I was speaking to somebody. The fact that we get marketing fees and not commissions, do you realize that if you put someone in a home that was only 120,000 and you put another person in a home that was $1 million, we would still get the $750. So I'm saying we don't have to do like realtors wheeling and dealing and trying to the customer and get them to buy a home that they probably can't afford, because we're looking in the back of our mind, well, I make more commission, so I know Joe said he wanted 350, but let me show him 450, 475, because I'm going to make more money. when I watch those shows on TV, I keep saying, how come every time they say I want a house for $350, they say, well, no, you said $350. This is only $500,000, hoping they fall in love with it, and maybe they can afford it, but that's not what they wanted, and they're going to have to pay that mortgage. With us, we can be honest, we can be sincere, we can meet the client at whatever level they want, because financially, we don't have no subjective thought that, well, I'm going to make more or less. We do a good job, we get referrals from the client, and everybody wins. So this is what the Zillow is about. And I've had fun looking at my neighborhood doing Zillow and recognize that my property's gone up quite a bit, and I hadn't realized it. So this is a good tool that we just want them to use to make sure that, again, the median price for what they want is exactly what we're asking for. So let's go down to the next. Okay, workflow. Let's hit that tab because that's important. Okay, one of the things that we mentioned, guys, and this is something you really need to know, what makes us unique, very unique, that we have no fees. No fees. I've seen home buyer programs where you spend grant programs that you might spend $100 to $200 just for an application, and you may not get approved. We have no fees that go to Fund My Home, no application fees, no broker fees. We are not asking the potential home buyer for nothing for us. They will pay appraisal report, because that has to come out of their pocket. They also will put up the earnest money. So in the workflow, in supportive documentation, they know that they need to have earnest money to go to the title company. It doesn't go to Fund My Home, it goes to the title company. It's in the amount of $3,000. Sometimes people say, well, why do we need $3,000? Again, Fund My Home doesn't need $3,000. We're not getting the $3,000. It's going to the title company so that when you pick a home and our realtor's taking you out and you say, this is the home I want, this is the home for my family, and the buyer, the seller says, well, what is your deposit? What is your down payment to take this off of listing, to put this in the contract? And you say, oh, I've got $1,500. Well, that's not a serious buyer. They're not going to take $1,500. You're not a serious buyer. So we have the $3,000, so we can put that down. They know that it's a serious buyer. And of course, if the deal doesn't go through or something changes, that's with the title company. That's not with Fund My Home. So as Ken is showing you guys, this is all laid out. It explains exactly how it goes to the title company. Everybody's protected. And Fund My Home, as I mentioned, we don't touch it. We don't see it. It's all held with the title company, just again, allowing that individual to be able to move quickly. Now, one thing that we do require, and this is something that Fund My Home feels strong about, and I know you guys support it, and that is we want to make sure every home that we're involved in has an inspection. Even if Joe says, well, I'm a flipper, I'm going to rip this up and I'm going to rip that out, I don't need an inspection, I don't want to spend the money. If you want to work with us, we are going to insist that you get a home inspection because our reputation is on the line. We want to make sure there's no hidden things that we're not in contingency that we're not aware about. We don't want to have a problem here. We want to have a nice squeaky clean record, and by having that inspection, we know that that part is handled. So once again, our company is doing everything necessary to keep us in the green, to keep our customers happy, to keep our reputation and our brand, which we're going to have, that's really developing full tilt, and people will start to look for us because of the job we're doing. Okay, so let's go down to next section. Okay, workflow. No, support, let's see, we did workflow. Okay, supportive documentation. Okay, now, very important. There's certain things that, and raise it up a little, Ken. What does a potential client have to have? Well, it's right here. They need income documentation. They got to have the last 2 years tax return, the last 2 years W-2s or 1099s, most recent month's pay stubs. Whatever it is, it's laid out. You don't have to guess it. You can go over it. They can see it. This is real crucial because, again, we don't do the loans. We're not the lenders, and this is necessary for the bank to approve it. And if we don't have this, we don't get the approval, and there's no getting around it. So you want to make sure they do it. And very important, and Carlos talked about it just the other night, it has to be legible, front and back, account numbers. When they use the uploader, everything has to be clear so that when the bank sees it, they can process it. It doesn't go in the back file and end up taking much longer for the process. Everything is here, number of members in the household, all the documentation to close the deal is right there. So supportive documentation is crucial, and you want to make sure, again, when you're talking to that potential home buyer, let them know how important this is so that we can process this in a timely fashion. Next one. Okay, now this is important as well. 90% of the country is in what we call USDA area, which is United States Department of Veterans Affairs as well as Department of Agriculture. This will allow an individual to get into a home if it's a USDA designated property with zero money down. And in certain parts of the country, there's still a lot of USDA available. So the question is, if it's zero money down, why do they need us? Because most realtors could take you to a USDA property. And again, the same thing that applies for us will apply for a real estate operation. So why do they need Fund My Home? Because we can step in and take care of the closing costs. And as you work with the calculator, you're going to notice the closing costs can be substantial. So we're offering a great benefit for those that choose a USDA property. And one thing I've recognized today, we have a lot of baby boomers that are moving into retirement. And with the internet and with all of the high-tech applications, you can live somewhat out in the country and still function and still work. You don't have to be in the city like you had 2 years ago. So a lot of people are interested in a USDA property because, again, owning anything versus renting, in my opinion, and most other potential home buyers. So really great option that we need to talk about. And the same thing with veterans. A veteran, of course, has a certificate, so they're entitled to a property with no money down. So I had someone call about a veteran this actually today, and I said, yep, they have the certificate, they can get no money down. And they asked, well, how do Fund My Home help them? Well, we still have the grant money, and we're gonna pick up the closing costs, which again is substantial. Made a big difference. So on your site, once again, you can go right up to that tab, and it links you to that site for, hit that again, yeah, go right up there, Ken, home buyers. And USD, yeah, up one more. There you go. So when you hit that we have a link right here that'll take you and give you more information about it. And it also has a map where you can look around and put in certain cities and see where the USDA properties are. I know I was looking in a couple of states, so I got to know. I can say, well, look, if you want to live in Broward County, if that's okay with you, we can actually get you in with zero down, and we can help cover the closing costs. And once again, I'll move to Broward County if I can have a home versus renting. So there's a lot of flexibility of what we can do. And again, if the home buyer does what we instruct them to do, which is to take the time and go through each tab, they will realize that we're going to do everything possible to help them experience home ownership. Okay, going down again. Credit score. Okay, we don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but as you guys know, 580, we can actually get, as Carlos has indicated, we can actually help people with FICO scores below 580 with restrictions, but 580 is the minimum of what we're looking for. So we give them some options that they can actually get a credit score, get their credit score, and it doesn't affect their credit rating. Because one of the things, we want to keep those FICO scores up. So use Credit Karma, which a lot of people have used, because we need to know their FICO scores when we start to engage in this process. And some people say, oh, I think it's 580, and they may have a couple of dings they're not aware of. We don't want it getting to the lender, and we're putting it in at 580 or 600 and find out they had a couple of dings they didn't know about, and now they're in 500 or 510, and then we may not be able to they may not be able to get the deal to be processed or to be approved. So we want them to check that piece so we know that, again, everything is set properly. Now, when they actually get the approval from the bank, they are at that time going to charge them, and they're going to run their own credit report. We just want the two of them to link up and be in sync. Okay, so let's go down to the near the end tab here. Okay, credit score, home buyer registration. So once you've gone through the process and you're about to, you got all the documents, the workflow, everything is in place, and now you're going to have pre-qualification specialists actually get the final call to go over everything to make sure they can get that information to the bank. We go to customer personal information, and Ken's got it up, and that's what they have to fill out to get an ID number. Once they have that ID number, that's when we can transfer them over to our customer care specialist. They will talk to the client. They will go over all the information to make sure that everything on Home Buyers Navigate here, or everything's been checked off. They will ask the question, did Lawrence Bond go over Home Buyers Navigate here? Lawrence Bond, I haven't seen that guy since he spoke to me. I don't know what he's doing. No, that's not what they're going to say. They're going to say, yes, he did. He went through it. We talked about each section. He's a great guy, and I don't have any questions. And then they're going to say, fine. If the answer really was, well, we haven't seen Lawrence Bond, we think he's on the golf course, they're going to say, well, we know we feel an educated buyer is our best customer. They're going to have them go back and actually look at the whole Home Buyers Navigate section, because we do actually want our customers to be educated. We want to know exactly what's going on next, so they can follow the stream and feel very confident. So once this is filled out, they will have a customer number, and then when they get transferred to the customer care specialist, they'll ask them for their number, your number, and then they'll take it from there. And what they will do is they will confirm the numbers. They will use a down payment calculator and make sure that everything that they have is exact in terms of what was stated. And then they'll say, now, once again, you want 3 bedrooms, 2,000 square feet, you want a backyard, you want this, you want it near public transportation, and all that information that they have, once it's approved, the realtor will get that information as well, so they know exactly what this new home buyer is looking for. So they'll take them out to proper homes that fits their parameters. So this is the home buyer registers here. And the last piece is the document uploader. And that's what I said earlier. Every sheet should be in sequence. Last 2 tax returns, everything that we have front and back. This is the main focus right here. And once this is uploaded, it's now in the hands of the lender. And now we're ready to go. And right here is where you click for your supportive documentation. So guys, this is the uploader. Thank you for putting that, Ken. So the key here is, guys, even if you just joined 10 minutes before the call, you now know where to go. You know what to study. It'll take a little time, but everything is here. So when we first came, as I said, we mentioned the callers looked at us and we were kind of stumbling, to tell you the truth. He said, oh, you guys are good. You got a good heart, but I think you need some help. And he laid all this stuff out. So when you say, if you're looking at where the company is now, you have no idea where we're going, because there's been so many great enhancements in the short time I've been there. And now it's really foolproof, because once again, and it's not a joke, the mission statement is to put 1 million families in home over the next 30 years. Carl's been working on this a long time. He didn't just wake up and say, oh, I got a good idea. He's put a lot of time and energy, and he streamlined it where we don't have to have the license as a realtor. We don't have to be mortgage brokers. We're going to get paid more than most realtors, mortgage brokers earn. We can move our business and travel around the world. As long as we got a laptop or computer, we can still do business and help people. So this is a gold mine. This is a golden opportunity. And as I said, if we find we need something else, just give us a little patience. It will show up. It will definitely show up. So with that section, I think I covered, let's go to fundmyhome.org. Here, I just want you to know it's available, but you can take your own time and you can look at that. Take your time, look at that, get to know your company. I think tonight, Carlos did a great job telling you a little bit about our story, why we're here, what we're doing. You guys know the mission statement. And, you know, when I talk to people, I just tell them the truth. I say, look, I'm working with a 501c3. You won't believe it, but they have a mission statement of actually helping 1 million families get into homes over the next 30 years. I said, now, I don't know about where you live, but I know where I'm living, the rents are choking people. They can't save money for a down payment, and here is a solution. So if that's happening, and most people say yes, 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 now they are ready to move forward.
What if there was a national company working in collaboration with a 501c3 public foundation, major lenders, title companies, realtors, and builders, in order to provide home buyers with the non-repayable grants they need to cover a substantial portion of their down payment and closing costs? What if that company went a step further by making these grants available without income restrictions and helped home buyers increase their purchasing power by paying off old collections, reducing credit score requirements, and collaborating with banks in order to bring them to close with zero or little out of pocket? What if that company created a business opportunity as a peer-to-peer social media referring society that pays its associate members $3,200 in marketing fees down to 8 levels for every home buyer that entered into a purchase agreement, even if that purchase agreement never closed? That company has arrived. Let's say that your friend wanted to buy a $250,000 home, and the typical amount needed from her to purchase that home without assistance was $20,000. Thanks to you telling her about us and our down payment assistance, she would need less than $5,000 to close. Or maybe even zero or little out of pocket to close. You heard me right, zero or little out of pocket. Additionally, she may decide to become an associate member and refer John, who then refers other home buyers. When that happens, everyone would earn substantial income for making home ownership happen. With us, associate members earn override commissions. Our company pays $3,200 per transaction down through 8 levels of associates on every purchase contract that their buyers enters into, even if that transaction never closes. No waiting for the sale to close. You are paid within days of the signed purchase agreement. The best part of this is that our associate members don't need a mortgage or a real estate license and don't have the added responsibility to process transactions. There will be associate members who will build large teams and earn tens of thousands of dollars per month, even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Will you be one of these associates? You can get started as either a home buyer or an associate member today, maybe even both. Get back to that person that sent you this video and let's get you started. Contact this associate member today.
Welcome to Fundmyhome.org Customer Success Training. Our best customer is an educated consumer. High standards. We expect a lot from you. Because you deserve a lot from us. We understand that purchasing your new home may be one of the most important and exciting decisions that you will make in your lifetime. As such, we are committed to making this experience as delightful as the time you will spend in your new home. Raising the bar. With Fundmyhome.org, you will pilot through the process well-informed, well-prepared and confident of the potential outcome before you proceed with your home buying experience. In other words, for your convenience, you will be first conditionally approved by Fundmyhome.org and its preferred lenders before you engage our preferred realtors or engage a seller into contract. This training is created to help prepare our down payment assistance recipients to effectively navigate through the application process of our amazing down payment assistance program. It is important to follow each step precisely as instructed to ensure a smooth, efficient process. Notice: Fundmyhome.org is neither a lender nor a residential real estate broker. As such, it does not lend or broker mortgages, nor broker the purchase or sale of residential real estate. Fundmyhome.org is a down payment assistance program managed in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our associate members are strictly prohibited from acting as or representing themselves or Fundmyhome.org as a lender or a residential real estate broker. They are independent contractors who promote our down payment assistance. Please note, we will not sell your information to a third-party company. It is Fundmyhome.org in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated, a 501c3 non-profit organization who will donate some or all the funds you need for down payment and/or closing costs. Our down payment assistance is gifted to you without liens or second mortgages. Our best customer is an educated consumer. Our goal is to share our knowledge, tools and skills with you in order to educate you and empower you with the ability to discover and decide for yourself whether you are a potential good fit for Fundmyhome.org before you apply for our down payment assistance. How familiar are you with down payment assistance programs from cities, counties and states? Some, or most of them, require that you pay an upfront application fee and drive you through lengthy processes which last well in excess of 6 months. Run out of funds quickly as they have limited funds allocated for down payment assistance. Therefore, place you in standby lists. Require that you attend and pay for an 8-hour first-time home buyer class before you apply. Require that you sign a purchase agreement on a home and give your seller a deposit before you apply for assistance. Restrict your total household income to less than 50 to 80% of your area median household income. Require 6 months bank statements, financial statements, pay stubs, W-2s and tax returns from all the persons in your household who receive any type of income, regardless of who will be a part of the mortgage loan. This may include retirement and Social Security income of grandparents and the part-time income of children. This combined household income may easily disqualify you as it may exceed 50 to 80% of your area median household income. Require repayment of their down payment assistance and require you to utilize the services of their participating lenders and realtors. Fundmyhome.org is not a government-backed program. Nevertheless, it requires its preferred lenders to provide government-backed loans. With Fundmyhome.org there are no standby or waiting lists. The whole buying process typically takes 60 days from application to close. There are 2 conditions in which you receive our no income limit, non-repayable down payment assistance. 1. You help us publicize the grant event to your friends and family by posting a social media post when you get a clear to close before you close. We provide the content for this social media post. 2. You utilize the services of our preferred lenders and realtors. Best of all, there are no first-time homebuyer classes to take or pay for. No application or broker fees. No income limits. The down payment assistance is non-repayable. And now, the process. You must first become well acquainted with our potential eligibility discovery process before proceeding to complete your application. This educational video explains what we are not. Fundmyhome.org frequently asked questions and workflow from application to close. Fundmyhome.org down payment assistance calculator. Zillow.com. The United States Department of Veteran Affairs. The United States Department of Agriculture. Credit Karma. Overview of the required supportive documentation. How to obtain your Fundmyhome.org customer ID number. Where to call our 501c3 non-profit organization counseling department to complete your pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis. And finally, how to submit your application and upload your supportive documentation. Let's review. What is Fundmyhome.org? Fundmyhome.org is a down payment assistance program managed in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated, a 501c3 non-profit organization. Providing homeownership opportunities. We help lenders close more home buyers by helping to provide some or all the money needed for down payment and closing costs. Our goal is to help bring home buyers to close with zero or little out of pocket. Fundmyhome.org is not a lender. Nevertheless, Fundmyhome.org helps its preferred lenders approve more home buyers by helping to provide funds needed for down payment and closing costs. Also, on a case-by-case basis, it may provide home buyers with the funds they need to pay off old collection accounts. This helps to lower home buyers' debt-to-income ratios, therefore increasing their purchasing power. Fundmyhome.org also helps home buyers increase credit scores by helping to insert their rental history, utilities, mobile phone bills, and insurance payments on their credit reports. Non-repayable. Unlike some or most cities, counties and states, which give down payment assistance in the form of zero interest, deferred payment second mortgages, our down payment assistance is non-repayable. It is gifted without liens or second mortgages. Funds are wire transferred at closing by the 501c3 nonprofit organization. No income limits. Unlike some or most down payment assistance programs from cities, counties and states, which limit home buyers' income to only 50 to 80% of their area median household income, Fundmyhome.org does not have income limits. Working the proper sequence. Some or most cities, counties and states require home buyers to first enter into purchase agreements and give their sellers earnest deposits before they are allowed to apply for their down payment assistance. Fundmyhome.org approves homebuyers before they engage sellers into purchase agreements. 5 to 7 days approvals. Applications can be decisioned within 5 to 7 days of receipt of home buyers' completed application and supportive documentation. Close in 30 to 45 days. Home buyers typically close within 30 to 45 days of signed purchase agreements. Follow the process. What we ask our homebuyers to do. Now that you know the basics of Fundmyhome.org, help us prepare you for a smooth, predictable transaction. Visit our website. Then, under the Home Buyers Navigate Here menu. Review our frequently asked questions. Review our workflow from application to close. Use our down payment assistance calculator to determine the dollar amount of your potential eligibility. Use Zillow.com to match the amount of your potential eligibility against the market conditions of your local real estate market. Use the USDA website to establish whether your hometown is located inside of a USDA designated area. Obtain your free credit report and credit scores from Credit Karma. Conduct an overview of your required supportive documentation. Register as our down payment assistance recipient and obtain your Fundmyhome.org customer ID number. After your completion of a small quiz and disclaimer about our down payment assistance program, you can call the 501c3 nonprofit organization counseling department to complete your pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis. The counselors pre-qualify and provide the links to the application portal and supportive documentation uploader. You can then submit your application and upload your supportive documentation. One of our lenders will then contact you to review your application, supportive documentation and decision your application. One last thing. Beware that we are not Fundmyhome.com, a Malaysian company. We are Fundmyhome.org, a United States company. There has never been any type of contact or relationship between these two separate unrelated companies. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for more important content, our ongoing success as a company, and the happy stories of our down payment assistance recipients.
What if there was a national company working in collaboration with a 501c3 public foundation, major lenders, title companies, realtors, and builders in order to provide home buyers with the non-repayable grants they need to cover a substantial portion of their down payment and closing costs? What if that company went a step further by making these grants available without income restrictions and helped home buyers increase their purchasing power by paying off old collections, reducing credit score requirements, and collaborating with banks in order to bring them to close with zero or little out of pocket? What if that company created a business opportunity as a peer-to-peer social media referring society that pays its associate members $3,200 in marketing fees down to 8 levels for every home buyer that entered into a purchase agreement, even if that purchase agreement never closed? That company has arrived. Let's say that your friend wanted to buy a $250,000 home, and the typical amount needed from her to purchase that home without assistance was $20,000. Thanks to you telling her about us and our down payment assistance, she would need less than $5,000 to close, and maybe even zero or little out of pocket to close. You heard me right, zero or little out of pocket. Additionally, she may decide to become an associate member and refer John, who then refers other home buyers. When that happens, everyone would earn substantial income for making home ownership happen. With us, associate members earn override commissions. Our company pays $3,200 per transaction down through 8 levels of associates on every purchase contract that their buyers enter into, even if that transaction never closes. No waiting for the sale to close. You are paid within days of the signed purchase agreement. The best part of this is that our associate members don't need a mortgage or real estate license and don't have the added responsibility to process transactions. There will be associate members who will build large teams and earn tens of thousands of dollars per month, even hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. Will you be one of these associates? You can get started as either a home buyer or an associate member today, maybe even both. Get back to that person that sent you this video and let's get you started. Contact this associate member today.
Fundmyhome.org. Customer Success Training. Zero out of pocket. One of the 3 ways in which we can help you purchase your home with zero out of pocket is by 1. Having a 660 credit score and a maximum of 56% debt-to-income ratio. 2. Having our preferred lenders fund your mortgage loan through a mortgage loan guarantee program guaranteed by the VA, the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. Mortgage-approved United States veterans holding VA certificates of eligibility will always close with Fundmyhome.org. With zero out of pocket, regardless of what city or town they wish to purchase their homes in. Be sure to include a copy of your VA certificate of eligibility when you submit your supportive documentation. 3. Having our preferred lenders fund your mortgage loan through a mortgage loan guarantee program guaranteed by the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture. All mortgage-qualified homebuyers approved by our lenders through the United States Department of Agriculture Mortgage Guarantee Program, purchasing a home located inside of an USDA-designated area, will always close with Fundmyhome.org, with zero out of pocket. Approximately 90% of cities and towns in the United States are located inside of USDA-designated areas. Follow this link: www.eligibility.sc.egov.usda.gov. to confirm that your home address is located inside of an USDA-designated area.
¿Necesita asistencia para su cuota inicial o una oportunidad de negocio? Presentamos Fundmyhome.org, una plataforma social de referencias de persona a persona. Beneficios claves de lo que hace que nuestro subsidio de cuota inicial y oportunidad de negocio sea tan diferente y atractivo. Sin tarifas de solicitud. Aprobaciones en 5 a 7 días. Cierres en 30 a 45 días de la firma del contrato de compra. Cierres con cero o poco dinero de bolsillo. Propiedades residenciales para uso personal de hasta 4 unidades. Sin límites de ingresos. Puntuaciones de crédito tan bajas como 580. No reembolsable. Sin gravámenes o segundas hipotecas. Absolución de préstamos estudiantiles. No limitado a compradores primerizos de hogar. Sin productos para vender o consumir. Elevada lealtad del cliente. Para las personas por las personas. Sin requerimiento de licencias. Siendo próspero, haciendo el bien. ¿Qué es Fundmyhome.org? Fundmyhome.org es un programa de subsidio de cuota inicial administrado en colaboración con Real Estate Mortgage Grants, en Downpayment Assistance Inc., una organización sin fines de lucro, 501c3, que proporciona oportunidades de vivienda propia. Cero de cuota inicial. Proporcionamos subsidio de cuota inicial y costos de cierre para la compra de su hogar. Nuestro objetivo es ayudar a llevarlo al cierre con cero o poco dinero de su bolsillo. Fundmyhome.org no es una institución hipotecaria. Sin embargo, Fundmyhome.org ayuda a sus bancos participantes a aprobar más compradores, ayudando a proporcionar fondos necesarios para pagos de cuotas iniciales y costos de cierre. También, en caso por caso, podría proporcionar fondos necesarios para pagar cuentas de cobros antiguos. Esto ayuda a reducir la relación porcentajes de deuda contra ingresos, aumentando así su poder adquisitivo. Membresía. Membresía a Fundmyhome.org. Es gratis y solo por invitación, a través de un miembro asociado de Fundmyhome.org. Se requiere una donación de $300 deducible de impuestos a nuestra organización, sin fines de lucro 501c3, el cual es diferido hasta por un año. Esta donación es deducida por Fundmyhome.org de su nómina de pago cuando usted comience a ganar dinero. Se requiere un cargo mensual de mantenimiento para su back office de $49. La tarifa de mantenimiento también es deducida de su nómina de pago. Adicionalmente, un pago de $49 para la producción de un video promocional personalizado a usted, producido y entregado por Fundmyhome.org. Este pago de $49 no es deducido de su nómina de pago, es pagado por todos los nuevos miembros asociados en los primeros 5 días después de su inscripción. Pagado a través de Cash App. El Cash Tag es Fundmyhome. ORG o pagado por Money Order pagadero a Real Estate Mortgage Grants, en Downpayment Assistance Inc. Enviado a Fundmyhome.org. A la dirección postal 931 Lake Wyman Road, Boca Raton, Florida 33431. Por favor recuerde incluir su nombre y número de membresía en el memo de la aplicación o giro postal. Sin límites de ingresos. A diferencia de la mayoría de los programas de subsidio de cuotas iniciales de ciudades, condados y estados, que limitan los ingresos del comprador a solo el 50 o el 80% de sus ingresos familiares medios del área, Fundmyhome.org no tiene límites de ingresos, trabajando la secuencia apropiada. Las ciudades, los condados y los estados requieren que los compradores de casa primero firmen contratos de compra y den depósitos a sus vendedores antes de solicitar por su subsidio de cuota inicial. Fundmyhome.org aprueba sus compradores antes de que contraten a vendedores en acuerdos de compra. Subsidio de cuota inicial no reembolsable. A diferencia de la mayoría de las ciudades, condados y estados, que dan subsidio de cuota inicial en forma de segundas hipotecas, con tasas de interés a 0% y pagos diferidos, nuestro subsidio de cuota inicial no es reembolsable. El subsidio es regalado, sin gravámenes o segundas hipotecas. Los fondos son transferidos el día del cierre por la organización, sin fines de lucro, 501C3. 580 de puntuación de crédito. Fundmyhome.org ayuda a aprobar sus compradores con puntuaciones de crédito tan bajas como 580. En caso por caso. Fundmyhome.org intentaría ayudar a aprobar personas sin puntajes de crédito. Fundmyhome.org también ayuda a aumentar las puntuaciones de crédito, ayudando a insertar historiales de alquiler, utilidades, facturas de teléfono móvil y pagos de seguros en los reportes de crédito. Préstamos estudiantiles. Fundmyhome.org ayuda a los bancos a aprobar a personas que tienen saldos de préstamos estudiantiles altos o préstamos estudiantiles en incumplimiento de pago. Fundmyhome.org ayuda a compradores agobiados por préstamos estudiantiles. Esto se hace mediante la reestructuración de deudas estudiantiles, ya sea en estatus corriente o incumplido, lo que luego reduce drásticamente los saldos, los términos y las mensualidades de esos préstamos. Reducidos pagos de préstamos estudiantiles significa reducción en la relación ingreso versus deuda, que luego resulta en mayor poder adquisitivo. Los préstamos estudiantiles reestructurados también aumentan los puntajes de crédito, lo que luego mejora oportunidades de vivienda. Esto no es ni reparación de crédito, ni una corrección temporal. La reestructuración de los préstamos estudiantiles es permanente, válida y lícita. Ahora, hablemos de préstamos estudiantiles por un momento. A partir de junio de 2018, Forbes informó que la deuda total de préstamos estudiantiles de Estados Unidos es de 1.5 trillones de dólares, y que aproximadamente 44 millones de personas tienen deudas de préstamos estudiantiles. El saldo promedio de préstamos estudiantiles por persona está cerca de $40,000, mientras que algunas personas deben $100,000 o más. Escuchen esto. En promedio, 44 millones de personas poseen casi $40,000 cada uno en préstamos estudiantiles. La dificultad de esto es que altas deudas de préstamos estudiantiles obstaculizan sueños de propiedad de vivienda. La buena noticia es que Fundmyhome.org, con su programa de absolución de préstamos estudiantiles, puede ayudar a más familias a alcanzar sus metas de propiedad de vivienda, incluso cuando han incumplido con sus préstamos estudiantiles. Aprobaciones en 5 a 7 días. Las solicitudes pueden ser aprobadas en 5 a 7 días de la recepción de la solicitud completa del comprador con su documentación adecuadamente entregada. Cierres en 30 a 45 días. Compradores suelen cerrar dentro de los 30 a 45 días de la firma de sus contratos de compra. Lo mejor de todo es que con Fundmyhome.org no hay costos de solicitud de nuestra asistencia. No hay clases que tomar o pagar de compradores primerizos de hogar, sin límites de ingresos. El subsidio no es reembolsable. Sin embargo, compradores pagan $39 por sus reportes de crédito. También pagan por sus depósitos a sus vendedores, por lo que Fundmyhome.org recomienda que tales depósitos sean por un mínimo de $3,000. También deben pagar por sus reportes de valoración de vivienda, a un costo promedio de $450, y pagar por sus informes de inspección de vivienda, a un costo promedio de $350. Tenga en cuenta que los veteranos de los Estados Unidos y esas personas comprando casas dentro de áreas designadas por el Departamento de Agricultura siempre recuperarán los gastos iniciales que pagarían de sus bolsillos, así como aquellos quienes Fundmyhome.org sea capaz de llevar al cierre con cero o poco dinero de sus bolsillos. Algunas condiciones pueden aplicarse. Siga el proceso, con el fin de maximizar nuestro movimiento y gran oportunidad de negocio. Paso 1. Es la hora de aprender. Aprenda todo lo que pueda sobre fundmyhome.org. Después de todo, un miembro asociado educado es nuestro mejor socio. Paso 2. Comparta esta oportunidad con sus amigos y familiares, compañeros de trabajo, vecinos y todos los que conozca, invitándolos a nuestros seminarios en línea que exponen nuestra oportunidad de negocio, conducidos cada noche por nuestra oficina y miembros asociados. Paso 3. Lleve a cabo sus propios seminarios en línea con sus compradores y guíelos a través de nuestra capacitación de éxito del cliente. Recuerde, nuestro mejor cliente es un consumidor educado. Esta capacitación incluye los siguientes videos informativos: manual de capacitación del cliente, preguntas frecuentes, flujo de trabajo desde el día de la aplicación hasta el día de cierre, calculadora del subsidio de la cuota inicial, silo.com, documentación requerida, cero de bolsillo, Departamento de Agricultura, USDA, puntajes de crédito, Credit Karma, cosas que hacer, cosas que evitar, límites de préstamos convencionales y FHA, registración del cliente. Luego, inducción de sus compradores en una llamada con el Departamento de Asesoramiento y Consejería sin fines de lucro, 501C3, para completar su cuestionario de precalificación y análisis de necesidades. Cuestionario de precalificación y análisis de necesidades. Una vez que haya ayudado a sus compradores a entender quiénes somos, qué hacemos, cómo lo hacemos y los pasos que tendrán que completar para enviar su solicitud de subsidio de cuota inicial, usted procederá a inducir sus compradores en una llamada con el Departamento de Consejería sin fines de lucro, 501C3, para completar un cuestionario de precalificación diseñado para confirmar el potencial de elegibilidad del comprador y completar un análisis de necesidades para determinar sus requisitos específicos para la compra de su hogar. El análisis de necesidades cubre cosas como distancia del trabajo y a la escuela, necesidades especiales, hospitales, lugares de culto, distritos de escuelas, tipos de propiedades, etc. ¿Cuál es el siguiente paso? Buena pregunta. Solo hágalo de nuevo. Conozca su equipo. Fundmyhome.org. Asigna al comprador a uno de sus agentes inmobiliarios participantes, que busca y envía información sobre las propiedades disponibles que coinciden estrechamente con los criterios de compra del comprador, y establece citas para ver las propiedades seleccionadas. Fundmyhome.org. Asigna al comprador a uno de sus corredores de préstamos participantes que completará y procesará su solicitud de préstamo. Contrato de compra. Una vez que el comprador haya firmado su acuerdo de compra, él o ella le daría al vendedor su depósito. El depósito se deposita directamente con la compañía de títulos. El depósito es efectuado por el comprador y de sus propios fondos. El depósito es protegido por los términos y condiciones del contrato. Fundmyhome.org. No recibe ni maneja depósitos. Día de pago. Una vez que su comprador entre en un acuerdo de compra, la responsabilidad de su trabajo estará hecha. Fundmyhome.org. Paga $3,200 por transacción, pagados entre usted y 8 niveles de su genealogía. La orden de pago de su compensación da lugar tras la culminación del período de inspección de la propiedad, siempre y cuando el comprador permanezca bajo contrato. Usted no tiene que esperar hasta que la transacción cierre para recibir compensación. Nunca hay contracargos, aunque las transacciones fallen en cerrar. La nómina de pago es semanal, lo que entre el jueves se paga el viernes, día del cierre. La organización, sin fines de lucro, transfiere a la compañía de títulos los fondos asignados para el subsidio de cuota inicial. El banco transfiere los fondos del préstamo hipotecario y los documentos de cierre. El vendedor firma los documentos del vendedor, el comprador firma los documentos del comprador, su hipoteca y nota. La compañía de títulos cierra la transacción de compra. El comprador recibe sus llaves y documentos. El fin. El comprador se convierte en el propietario de su hogar. Próximamente. Lo que tenemos en camino. Campaña de televisión nacional. Como usted sabe, nos estamos preparando para nuestro comercial de televisión nacional que se transmitirá en 47 estados. Se espera que nuestra campaña comercial de televisión genere un gran interés en nuestro subsidio de cuota inicial. Los miembros asociados certificados en su aptitud participarán en la respuesta de esta próxima campaña comercial de televisión y en el costo de la campaña. Este costo para los miembros asociados se deducirá de sus nóminas de pago. Las personas que llamen serán precalificadas por los operadores profesionales del centro de llamadas de la compañía de producción de televisión, por puntajes de crédito mínimos de 680. Ingresos anuales mínimos de $85,000, plazo de compra de 30 a 60 días y estado de empleo W2. Nuestro objetivo es crear 1 millón de nuevos compradores de viviendas. Contribuya hacia adelante. Comparta la oportunidad de Fundmyhome.org. Todo comienza con usted. Juntos podemos lograr nuestro objetivo de 1 millón de nuevos propietarios. Todo bien hasta ahora, señoras y señores. Esta diapositiva demuestra nuestra calculadora de subsidio de cuota inicial. Es una herramienta muy útil y necesaria que usted y sus beneficiarios deben usar para determinar por sí mismos si usted o ellos son un buen beneficiario potencial para Fundmyhome.org, antes de proceder a solicitar nuestra asistencia. Esta calculadora se encuentra en el menú de nuestra página web llamado Home Buyers Navigate Here. Esta calculadora ofrece campos abiertos donde los compradores de vivienda ingresan información breve y simple. Estos campos son: precio de compra, ingreso anual y deuda mensual. Con esta información, la calculadora proporciona y estima el monto en dólares de la elegibilidad potencial de los compradores, los pagos mensuales estimados y el efectivo aproximado para cerrar. La calculadora también le recuerda que todos los veteranos de los Estados Unidos que poseen certificados de elegibilidad del Departamento de Asuntos de Veteranos, y todos los compradores que compren dentro de un área designada por el USDA, siempre cerrarán con cero de su bolsillo. Usted debe utilizar esta calculadora con todos sus beneficiarios. Ahora, damas y caballeros, en la siguiente diapositiva, mostraremos el lucrativo plan de compensación de Fundmyhome.org, que paga $750 en tarifas de mercadeo más compensaciones pagadas en sus 8 niveles subsiguientes de genealogía. Todo por un total de $3,200 por transacción. Tenga en cuenta que Fundmyhome.org no paga por reclutamiento, paga por su producción personal y la producción de su equipo. Mantenga en mente que el patrocinio personal de nuevos miembros asociados es uno de los únicos 2 calificadores necesarios para recibir compensación genealógica. El segundo calificador necesario para recibir compensación genealógica es la producción personal de al menos una transacción por año. Muy bien, ahora hablemos de las tarifas de mercadeo. Por supuesto que sabe que cuando trae a alguien que reciba nuestra asistencia, usted gana $750. También tiene la opción de establecer un equipo que puede crecer en 8 niveles de profundidad. Así que, para calificar para 8 niveles de profundidad, usted tiene que patrocinar personalmente 8 nuevos miembros asociados. Si desea calificar para 4 niveles de genealogía, entonces usted patrocinaría personalmente 4 miembros asociados, etc. Así que vamos a darle un ejemplo de lo que sucedería si usted patrocina personalmente a 3 nuevos miembros asociados y, usted y ellos, cada uno remite a un destinatario de nuestra asistencia por mes. En este ejemplo usted ganaría $750 por su propia transacción, más $500 adicionales por cada referencia traída por sus 3 miembros asociados patrocinados personalmente, por un total de $2,250 por mes, el cual no sería nada malo por un trabajo de tiempo parcial, y solo tener un total de 4 personas en su equipo. En este siguiente ejemplo, si usted patrocina personalmente 8 nuevos miembros asociados, y ellos patrocinan a un nuevo miembro asociado cada uno, y usted y ellos, cada uno refieren a un destinatario de nuestra asistencia por mes, el cual es solo 12 transacciones por año. En este ejemplo usted tendría un total de 65 miembros asociados en su equipo. Su potencial de ingresos sería de $20,350 por mes. Una cantidad significativa de dinero, damas y caballeros, por tener solo 65 miembros asociados en su equipo y referir personalmente a un beneficiario por mes. Y si usted está mirando el gráfico, usted puede ver cómo los $3,200 en tarifas de mercadeo se pagan entre usted y su equipo. $750 se paga a usted por su producción personal, entonces el resto se paga en sus 8 niveles. $500 en el primer nivel, $450 en el segundo nivel, $400 en el tercer nivel, $350 en el cuarto nivel, $300 en el quinto nivel, $250 en el sexto nivel, $150 en el séptimo nivel y $50 en su octavo nivel. Todo esto totaliza $3,200 en tarifas de mercadeo. En este tercer ejemplo, si usted patrocina personalmente 8 nuevos miembros asociados, y ellos patrocinan a 2 nuevos miembros asociados cada uno, y usted y ellos, cada uno refieren a un receptor de nuestra asistencia por año, no uno por mes, solo uno por año. Damas y caballeros, en este ejemplo usted tendría un total de 2.041 miembros asociados en su equipo, y ganarían más de $23.000 por el mes, una cantidad significativa de dinero. Ahora, en este ejemplo final, si usted personalmente patrocina 8 nuevos miembros asociados, y ellos patrocinan a 3 nuevos miembros asociados cada uno, eso significa que usted tendría 8 miembros asociados en su primer nivel, 24 en su siguiente, cada nivel aumentando en múltiplos de 3 para un equipo total de 26.241 miembros asociados. Y si usted y ellos, cada uno refiere a un receptor de nuestra asistencia por año, no por mes, solo uno por año. Damas y caballeros, en este ejemplo su potencial de ingresos sería más de $200.000 por mes, una extraordinaria cantidad de dinero. Todo esto mientras proporciona a sus amigos y familiares la oportunidad de lograr sus metas de vivienda. Un sistema duplicable sostenible, sin productos para vender, sin productos para consumir, sin necesidad de licencias hipotecarias o inmobiliarias. Fundmyhome.org no paga comisiones. Fundmyhome.org solo paga tarifas de comercialización. No hay preocupaciones del FTC. Fundmyhome.org no paga por reclutar otros miembros asociados, por lo tanto, nunca puede llamarse una pirámide ilegal. Tiene el potencial de ingresos más alto existente. Fundmyhome.org paga 1000 veces más por transacción de lo que otras compañías de ventas directas pagan. Una vez que haya establecido su equipo, sus miembros asociados nunca lo dejarán. Los beneficiarios de nuestra asistencia son requeridos de publicitar nuestra asistencia en sus redes sociales cuando obtengan su visto bueno para cerrar. Esto, damas y caballeros, resultará en más candidatos interesados que usted podría servir. En Fundmyhome.org, usted encuentra un ecosistema. Propietarios de hogar se convierten en miembros asociados, y miembros asociados se convierten en propietarios de hogar. Esto, damas y caballeros, concluye nuestra breve visión general de nuestra poderosa oportunidad de negocio. Esta es su empresa y juntos lo lograremos. Lo invitamos a compartir nuestro increíble programa de subsidio de cuotas iniciales, y nuestro lucrativo, incomparable y personalmente gratificante oportunidad de negocio con todos sus amigos y familiares para tomar parte de nuestra misión de lograr 1 millón de propietarios de hogar. Juntos crearemos 1 millón de nuevos propietarios. Nosotros, en nombre de nuestro personal, nuestros miembros asociados y los receptores de nuestra asistencia, le agradecemos inmensamente por su interés, apoyo y participación. Por lo que Fundmyhome.org honra a Dios al llevar nuestro esfuerzo y la propiedad de nuestra compañía a su gracia y gloria, y prometemos honrar a Dios y a su Hijo Jesús con nuestra riqueza. Cada mes Fundmyhome.org donará a una organización benéfica de su elección los fondos necesarios para beneficiar a otros propietarios y las comunidades donde viven nuestros miembros asociados. Adiós por ahora, y que Dios lo bendiga a usted y todo lo que haga, y a nuestra compañía.
Florida Department of State, Division of Corporations, sunbiz.org. Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated was founded in Florida, USA. On May 31, 2017. It was formed as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Likewise, Fundmyhome.org was founded in Florida, USA on October 21, 2017. Both the 501c3 and Fundmyhome.org were founded with the purpose of providing enhanced homeownership opportunities and a lucrative and personally rewarding business opportunity to its associate members. Please note that we are not Fundmyhome.com, a Malaysian company. We are Fundmyhome.org, a United States company.
Do you need down payment assistance to fund your dream home? Introducing Fundmyhome.org. What is Fundmyhome? We are a down payment assistance program managed in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance, Inc., a 501c3 nonprofit organization, providing home ownership opportunities. What makes us different? First, we help home buyers nationwide, and we offer non-repayable grants without liens or second mortgages. We have no income limits or caps. We accept credit scores starting at 580 with lower scores considered. In many cases, our clients need zero to little out-of-pocket in closing costs. We work with government loans such as FHA, VA, USDA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and conventional loans. We provide grants for first and second home down payments and closing costs, and we offer up to $48,000 in grant funding. Finally, we work with preferred realtors and lenders nationwide. Fund My Home is not a lender. Nevertheless, Fund My Home helps its preferred lenders approve more home buyers by providing funds needed for down payment and closing costs. Also, on a case-by-case basis, it may provide home buyers with the funds they need to pay off collection accounts. This helps to lower home buyer debt to income, thus increasing purchasing power. Now let's review the main benefits. We provide home buyers with money for down payment and closing costs. Our goal is to bring home buyers to close with zero or little out of pocket. Credit scores. Fund My Home helps approve home buyers with credit scores as low as 580. On a case-by-case basis, Fund My Home will attempt to help approve home buyers without credit scores. The next benefit is non-repayable grants up to $48,000. Unlike most cities, counties, and states, which give down payment assistance in the form of zero interest, deferred payment second mortgages, our down payment assistance is non-repayable. It is gifted without liens or second mortgages. Funds are wire transferred at closing by the 501c3 nonprofit organization. No income limits. Unlike most down payment assistance programs from cities, counties, and states, which limit homebuyer income to only 50 to 80% of their area median household income, Fund My Home does not have income limits. Next, we have the proper business sequence. Cities, counties, and states require homebuyers to first enter into purchase agreements with earnest deposits before applying for their down payment assistance. Fund My Home approves homebuyers before they engage sellers into purchase agreements. Now let's talk about approvals. Applications can be finalized within 4 to 5 days of receipt of the homebuyer's supportive documentation. And on the topic of closing, homebuyers typically close within 30 to 45 days of signed purchase agreements. Now let's discuss the homebuyer registration and grant application process. First of all, there are no application fees or broker fees. Nevertheless, at the time of applications, home buyers pay $24 for the credit report. And once approved and under contract, home buyers pay the earnest deposit to the sellers, and on average $450 for the appraisal report, and on average $350 for the home inspection report. The next step is needs analysis. Once the down payment assistance and mortgage loan are pre-approved, Fund My Home conducts a needs analysis with the home buyer to determine their specific home buying requirements. Needs analysis covers things like distance from work and school, special needs, hospitals, places of worship, school districts, type of property, etc. We then assign the home buyer to one of our preferred realtors who searches and emails listing information on available properties that closely match home buyers' buying criteria and sets up appointments to view selected properties. Next, we assign the home buyer to one of our preferred lenders who will complete and process their loan application. Now let's discuss the signing of the purchase agreement, which begins when the home buyer gives the seller the earnest deposit, which is deposited directly with the preferred title company. The earnest deposit is paid by the homebuyer out of the homebuyer's own funds, and the earnest deposit is protected by the terms and conditions of the contract. Fund My Home does not receive nor handle earnest deposits. The final step is the loan closing. Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance, Inc. wire transfers to the title company the funds allocated for down payment assistance. The bank then wire transfers the mortgage loan funds to the title company and emails the funding docs. The homebuyer wire transfers to the title company what remaining funds are needed to close. The seller signs the seller docs. The homebuyer signs the buyer docs, the mortgage, and the note. The title company closes purchase transaction. The homebuyer receives their keys and closing documents. The homebuyer becomes the homeowner. With that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Million Homes Challenge. Together, we'll create 1 million new homeowners. For more information and to register today, contact the following associate. Thank you for watching.
Associate Member Success Training. Customer Onboarding Call with the 501c3 Counselors. Customer Onboarding Call. Once you have confirmed the potential eligibility of your prospective homebuyer, it is now time to onboard them on a conference call with the 501c3 counselors to complete their pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis. Dial 888-386-3694. On a three-way conference call with your customers to onboard them on their pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis call. It is recommended that it be the customer who dials the number, so you may offboard the call when you are no longer required on the call. Once connected, you will hear the following greeting.
Thank you for calling. And welcome to Fundmyhome.org Down Payment Assistance Program and Income Opportunity, managed in collaboration with Real Estate Mortgage Grants and Down Payment Assistance Incorporated, a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Our vision and purpose is to provide down payment assistance to all mortgage-approved homebuyers, regardless of their income. If you have already reviewed our frequently asked questions and workflow from application to close, have used our down payment assistance calculator to predetermine the dollar amount of your potential eligibility, and conducted a preliminary real estate search on Zillow to establish that the dollar amount of your potential eligibility matches the market conditions of your local area, checked your credit score on Credit Karma to confirm that you have the minimum 580 score required for this program, obtained a Fundmyhome.org customer ID number, uploaded your supportive documentation, and finally, wish to speak with our 501c3 counselors to complete your pre-qualification questionnaire and needs analysis. Then press 1 now.
Press 1. Your call will be answered in the following manner. It's a good day at fundmyhome.org. Hello and thank you for calling fundmyhome.org. My name is Robert, your customer care representative and pre-qualification specialist. Today we will be completing the required pre-qualification questionnaire and home needs analysis. Am I speaking with one of our associate members or one of our customers?
Hello, Robert. I am an associate member and I have a customer on the telephone with us.
Member? Great. May I have your name and associate member ID number, please?
My name is Rebecca Watson, and my associate member ID number is 100001.
Thank you, Ms. Rebecca Watson. For the security and peace of mind of our customers, we will not ask for social security numbers, dates of birth, or banking information on this call. The purpose of this call is to confirm the dollar amount of the customer's potential eligibility for down payment assistance and match it to the market conditions of their local real estate market. May I have the customer's full name and customer ID number, please?
Sure, Robert. Her name is Mary Jones, and her customer ID number is 100002.
Greetings, Mrs. Jones. It's our pleasure and honor to serve you. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Robert. Happy to be on the call.
Good to know, Mrs. Jones. In what city and state are you planning to purchase your new home?
Orlando, Florida. We are buying a beautiful 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single-family residence with a nice backyard with a beautiful garden and fruit trees and a pool near a park on a lake in the school district we want, with plenty of shops and restaurants. It has everything we've been hoping for. We absolutely love it.
That's exciting. That really sounds like a nice place. Welcome to the call, Mrs. Jones. As an educated consumer, Mrs. Jones, I assume that our associate member, Ms. Rebecca Watson, has shared the informational video and website with you, has answered all your questions, and reviewed with you our frequently asked questions and workflow.
Yes, Robert, Ms. Rebecca Watson has been very helpful and informative about the whole process.
And you have had the opportunity to use our down payment assistance calculator to discover for yourself the dollar amount of your potential eligibility and have used Zillow to match the dollar amount of your potential eligibility to the market conditions of your local real estate market. And have used Credit Karma to confirm that you have the minimum of 580 credit score required for this program, and finally, that you have uploaded your supportive documentation.
Yes, I've done all that. I watched the informational videos that she played for me on her Zoom webinar. I checked my credit score, used the calculator and Zillow to determine my potential eligibility, and was able to upload my supportive documentation. I even got a customer ID number. I'm so excited about fundmyhome.org.
Great, that's good news. After all, Mrs. Jones, an educated consumer is our best customer. So, let's begin. Let's take a look at your supportive documentation. Customer offboarding. In order to maintain the highest quality of customer service, in such isolated cases, when customers are onboarded on their pre-qualification questionnaires and needs analysis calls, prematurely when they are unprepared, unaware of our process, or before they have uploaded their supportive documentation. The 501c3 counselors will offboard the call and invite the customers to resume their call when they have reviewed our process and have successfully uploaded their supportive documentation, etc. Customer offboarding. Welcome to the call. As an educated consumer, Mrs. Jones, I assume that our associate member, Ms. Rebecca Watson, has shared the informational video and website with you, has answered all your questions and reviewed with you our frequently asked questions and workflow. And you have had the opportunity to use our down payment assistance calculator to discover for yourself the dollar amount of your potential eligibility and have used Zillow.com to match the dollar amount of your potential eligibility to the market conditions of your local real estate market. And have used Credit Karma to confirm that you have the minimum of 580 credit score required for this program and have uploaded your supportive documentation.
Not exactly. I thought that I would get more information from you first. I've been very busy. I told Ms. Rebecca Watson that, with my kids, school and work, my time is very limited these days. No worries. I will get to all that right after this call. I promise.
Based on your response, Mrs. Jones, we are unable to proceed with your counseling at this time. Please feel free to reconvene at a later time when you are fully informed, have obtained your customer ID number, and have uploaded your supportive documentation. After all, Mrs. Jones, an educated consumer is our best customer. Have a wonderful day. We look forward to speaking with you again. Goodbye. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for more important content, our ongoing success, and the happy stories of our down payment assistance recipients.